too crazy happening. Even the fact that you have Idok on the Cho, it's kind of just getting stopped in his tracks just because of Yehezkiel has this Jushin. We've seen this quite a bit. They're able to go ahead and just stop Idok from trying to set things up. But really, you don't really want to unless Susujin has the ability to go forward. Fabian will keep Idok in check. Purple buff's up now. So we'll see. He's got to be able to secure that. But this is just what's going to continue to happen. You already talked about the level gap. But Fabian now working on this purple buff. And that's just going to go ahead and get taken. Turtles up. Meanwhile, Susujin working on the orange. Is going to get spotted out. They might break into a skirmish. They'll fight.
They're going to commit. The way of the dragon. Aran has to use to revitalize. Here
comes
Bajir to the rescue with the Crimson Beacon.
Oh.
Gonna catch. AOG used defensively.
Gelo.
RRQ Hoshi, but you can see already how much lead TLID has to the point that Aran, even if he overcomes
bisa meren.
He's gonna do his job properly, which
RRQ
is
boss.
delay as much as
RRQ
possible
boss.
the Joyce power
Go, go,
spike
go.
later on.
Even in this matchup, making his way. They know Aaron Shiki's there. Can he actually withstand this?
Oh, blazing to it, but Aaron Shiki also has his Zapping Force. Here's come Witty though. They're trying to work on Idok. Idok commits the kick, but he's gonna get bursted down.
Nice.
Aaron Shiki got bleeded also. 3 members ganging up on Witty the Wise. He will fall down in the hands of Susujin.
There's our
GG.
They get 2 kills in the exchange.
Susujin emang the best.
Shortcut came
Karena
through,
gue
but the
mabos.
mid turret did get taken down as Team Liquid ID gets an objective. Surprising too, Skylar
bisa.
that. Yehezkiel delaying them a little bit longer from recalling. Now Aaron joins the fight, can crash down on Riz. Under the turret, gets dragged back, and Aran will get the kill.
Kasih paham Susujin.
All of a sudden, Rin just got bursted down, and TLID, they already got the mid lane.
Ini match rame loh ini yang flashback kita ya ke
Aran still has the power of Wild Wilderness.
yang waktu di Bandung itu.
So TLID gonna go again for the purple buff steal.
You're gonna take this. We'll see this time around. Susujin's just here, just around the corner. Might actually just lose it again. There's a lot of pressure on that side of the jungle, and right now, even though RRQ Hoshi finds a couple kills, TLID holding on comfortably to the lead that they have, and they'll play around with some of the macro decisions that they have whenever they have shortcut available. So with this building into the next objective, they might go 3 for 3 on the turtles, and it's up to RRQ Hoshi to decide on how they want to approach this. They might just give up all 3 turtles and just try to play catch up. We know that Skylar on the Claude needs more time to build up to get the items that he needs in comparison to a Heron for Aaron Shiki. Well, right now, turtles up. Radiant armor is locked in now for Idok. That might help him dealing a little bit with this, the Jushin across from him, but so far we really haven't seen those setup kicks that we're looking for from Idok, like we've seen previously, as now the 3rd turtle is locked in, secured for TLID.
Yeah, and I actually like to go back to your point, because the reason why Idok is having a hard time or having trouble with finding those angles is because of the constant pressure Yehezkiel has been putting onto him, and even Aran, every single burst that he can find, he's going to go in and try to get Idok out of position. So far, TLID, not just controlling all the neutral objectives, also getting a lot of ground covered for their side.
I'm surprised at just how methodical this is, and that's why it's a little bit slower paced, just because TLID, they know their advantage. They can go ahead and play around the macro level. They don't have to force any fights. A lot of the times, they're just kind of responding. As long as they keep Idok in check and he's not doing what he has to do on the Cho, they don't really have to force anything. They just whittle down the turrets, get the space they need, focus on taking the buffs if they can, or at least putting pressure there, and just continue to build up. I mean, nothing action-packed has happened in the last 2 minutes or so, but they continue to build up on the gold lead that they have. So it's RRQ Hoshi that has to kind of stop the bleeding here.
Okay, electrifying beats for Susujin. Just trying to keep TLID at bay. They might go for Idok. Lantern Flare is going to connect, forcing Idok to use the flicker. Here comes Rinso. He has his own Crimson Beacon. And now RRQ Hoshi still standing their ground. They're not going to let the 2nd-tier turret get taken down.
Now they hold on to it, but again, they're just really holding on at this point. Now waiting for that lore to come up, and with TLID having the lead they do, they should be able to go ahead and secure things. Finally working on the tier 2. They'll whittle this down a little bit with Aaron Shiki. It looks like RRQ Hoshi doesn't want to let it go, though. They will clear out the lane and keep the turret up. But still, the rest of the pressure is just going to stay there. Again, the TLID knowing that they can just let RRQ Hoshi respond. This time, Rins is holding on to his own beacon. Idok, though, takes a couple shots. Aaron's going to jump in.
Commits the power of Wilderness. Now he has to walk away. Because the damage, he has to respect the damage coming in from RRQ Hoshi, but that was more than enough for TLID to secure higher ground in this Lord pit. Again, they're just really controlling the mid lane, the bottom lane, and now even the minions are going to take down the bottom lane turret.
You can see that. Again, a previous record, it's beaten by 1 second now. Fastest level 15, and that's just going to be another objective. But they go in with a shortcut. Are they going to be able to follow through? That's already the Lord taken. The shortcut to come up. They don't get any kills, but they might fight here.
They commit the kick, but is it going to be enough? Though Skylar goes in with a blazing duet. Aaron shaky onto the backline with his Zaman Force, going to be able to take down one more. AOT going to be used up defensively. Yeah, skill on the other hand, going for Jiren. They're going to evade a potential death, but Fabian says no, we want more, and brings down 2.
Oh man, you heard it earlier. He said, be careful. Goes in, gets a kill, and now with the Lord in favor, it's looking a little dire here for RRQ Hoshi trying to defend the base.
Okay, they're ganging up on E-Dog. Lantern Flare is there. E-Dog has to walk away. The damage chunking up a lot of his health. Energy shields will be popped in the middle lane. And onto the bottom lane, RRQ Hoshi. They have to think about how to clear out this Lord as fast as possible without suffering any inhibitor turret takedowns.
Here, they might be able to go ahead and clear this out. Again, only the first Lord. RRQ Hoshi makes work of it. They do lose space, more space around the map. They already didn't have a lot to work with. But that gold lead continues to build up as Team Liquid ID just keeps punishing RRQ Hoshi's positioning, and that's all utilizing the shortcut. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You know, 1 minute they're taking the Lord, next thing you know, here comes Team Liquid ID through a portal, crashing down. And RRQ Hoshi, they don't have an answer for it just yet. You know, even Skylar, he needs time to continue to build up. He's got the Corrosive Scythe and DHS, still working on the next last item here to really come online, that Trinity for the Claude. So they're just kind of lacking some damage. Part of that was in due to that Suzujin was just, he had a hard time in the jungle, man. He was gapped early on and until now, quite behind Fabian.
Yeah, the first 2 kills that Fabian picked up onto the early game was really crucial because that opened up a lot for TLID, not to mention that they were able to take down the mid lane turret even before the 3rd turtle respawn. So Suzujin's jungle has been exposed rapidly, and I just noticed Aaron Shiki already has a death. And now they're trying to go for Ezekiel, forced to use the Crimson Beacon. Skylar going in with a blazing duet. Now they're going to work on Fabian. There's the kit, but Winnie goes in with a shortcut. They're going to be able to break down Ezekiel and Fabian. Here comes the Kingdom, trying to answer back. Working on Aaron Shiki. Rins used the Crimson Beacon to walk away, but Jiren though is going to get caught though by TLID.
Mama lagi streaming.
Skylar, they were able to take down Ezekiel and Fabian.
There we go, RRQ Hoshi able to find something. Yes, Skylar went down. But that was a fight that they decided to take. They jump on in and they follow through from Jiren. But man, do they have ground to cover. Even looking at the gold rankings here between the heroes and the lanes, they have a lot of work to do. Even for Skylar, like I mentioned, he was nearly there for the 3-item power spike that is for the Claude, which just locked in the golden staff. But you don't want to go ahead and lose all those fights. If they can get a couple kills, that's great. But can they actually go face-to-face in a team fight for the Lord?
Kayak abis bangun tidur.
For them to go ahead and continue to try to farm up, buy some more time in this game. Because
ya sedih tuh kan memang nanti minggu depan juga bisa.
TLID will go ahead and start this up, and this is going to be a quick one. Already half health on the Lord, and RRQ Hoshi going to be too late to get in this side of the map. They will try to get
mana talanya di Jogja ya? Ya lupa.
You can see that too. Aaron Shiki picking up Divine Blade enough too, just to take Jiren down, you know, to half health. So that's what's in store for RRQ Hoshi as you get ready for this defense.
Iya, nggak apa-apa tuh.
Are they going to get past this? Are they going to get past
dia kan main gitu karena dia juga main Mamba kan?
Down this much.
I mean, it's still possible.
Kocak.
Although I believe they're gonna suffer inhibitor turret takedowns. But again, I do want to commend Aran, because Aran has been covering a lot of ground, providing a lot of vision for the side of TLID without even being taken down even once. 104 with the Hilda. Now the Lord later on will siege in the bottom lane. Let's see if RRQ Hoshi, the Kingdom, can they defend it?
Oh, dia lengkong.
RQ's gonna have
Deket
to do
tuh sama Montreal tuh.
They get prepped and ready. Rin's holding on to the beacon himself.
Gak ada, belum datang.
Jumps on in. Lord still makes its way down the bottom side to clear out the waves. Edok doesn't want to use the kick just yet, holding on to the way of the dragon.
Jangan bawa bungkus ya.
Lord's gonna go push in. Conceal gonna be used, but still keeping things under control, taking their time. Bottom turret now down. RRQ Hoshi will clear that out. Mid wave now pushing in. We're gonna take this. Conceal's already gonna be used.
Sorry guys. Terganggu guys.
Either commits the kick. Plus the blading duet, will they be able to take down more? Arane is gonna fall down. Skylar with the blazing
Banjir.
duet to try and clear out the minions.
kalah,
Sutsujin,
coy, ini mah.
Siren is down. TLID trying to work on bringing down the crystal, but RRQ Hoshi manages to defend the onslaught of TLID. Fabian goes in. Edok has to walk away. They don't have minions. Skylar goes 1v1, but there's a Winter Crown. Two Winter Crown plays. Skylar might be able to escape, but Edok shaky says no. And then another. Edok falls down, and TLID with a game 1 win.
What a play!
Gelo,
Aaron
anjing
Shiki
liquid.
coming in at the end
Bangke
to
betul.
get the triple. This game, he might not have been invincible, but man, did he come through in game number 1. 14 minutes, 2 seconds in. Very, very strong showing for the series already for the Cavalry. And it looks like RRQ Hoshi, the Kingdom, will have to readjust
Gila.
from this.
Liquid bros.
Come together and be able to
Liquid
secure
bros.
Sutsujin in the jungle a little bit earlier on, because that was where things fell apart the early game. Can they make that happen? The panel, let us know what you guys think about game number 1 in this best of 5.
A very fast opener to this best of 5 in the MPLID rematch happening at the M6 knockout stage. TLID draws first blood over the Kingdom. Gentlemen, we set up what could possibly happen here, and we had so many expectations, but is this what you saw coming? A 14-minute blitz, a liquid stampede, if you will.
Yeah, Stampede at its finest. I did not expect that. I didn't even expect the chip to go into the hands of Witty, and just the shortcuts were huge in this game, and not to mention Azushin by his side.
It's what a friend of ours, Ray Ash, would call a witty party. Ain't no party like a witty party, like just a
Gila,
single press
bos.
on the shortcut and everybody's in.
Yeah, Team Liquid ID was oiled up and ready to go.
They were oiled up.
Oh.
There you go. That's
They were ready to go.
what you were asking. It's like,
They had
what's
Fava Flav on the Suyo, the Blue Yo.
the ghost?
Which normally, we talked about how Joy does so good against it, but there is one key factor to that. Joy needs the time, it's got to be able to scale, and Team Liquid ID didn't let that happen.
Fabian on point with the Suyo. A great performance. The Ghost of Jakarta. Ezekiel again with 1 death.
Just dies once, right? Now you see, now you understand. The utility Jushin rears its beautiful head because very rarely does she ever show up in a game, but where they picked her, that blue 1. That's how you can get away with it, and that's, I'll tell you now, I think the Jushin was what stopped RRQ from ramping up into Sutsujin's Joy that would eventually snowball into Skylar's Quad. Like, that was the good stop.
And a lot of focus in the draft onto Skylar in the beginning, right? We saw the double marksman ban come out. They banned his Wan, which pretty much opened up the door for that Zushin to walk in the draft.
Yeah, and you know, we questioned the Claude pick when we saw it. It was a little, how is this going to play? I felt like Skylar could maybe pull it off, but once it starts to fall behind, it is troublesome. And he also goes for a little bit of a defensive build there, picks up the tenacity. But I want to look at Aaron Shiki because he goes for bargain, right? He gets the bargain hunter. He goes for cooldown. This man is trying to get items as fast as possible, and he knows his team will buy him the time to do that. And once they were locked in, they were willing, like, Stampede, man, they were in the base. They were willing to push the limit and take it down to the wire.
He did suffer a couple of deaths, 2 more than what he's used to in the past 6 games here. But hey, you do what you gotta do. Let's look at the post-game stats here, talking about damage, talking about farm. And you'll see here that it's all orange, it's all Liquid ID. We did break a new threshold, folks, a new record for the fastest level 15 in M6. It's currently Fava Flav, the usurper, going to level 15 at 847.
Flavor Fave on point for TLID. You gotta love to see it. You know something else that stands out to me, Aaron Shiki, on this Harith, man.
I'm still stuck on that level 15. That's
Under 9 minutes.
that's almost 2 levels a minute.
Homie was farming for next game.
He was farming for next game. I mean, Fabian, and that's the thing when you look at this team, it's hard to just pick a singular player, right? Because yeah, Aaron Shiki played great, Fabian played great, Yeheskel played great, but none of them would have been able to do that if it wasn't for Aaron and Witty. I mean, the whole team is a full package and they bring it every single game.
You say Aaron or Aran?
Aran
on the Hilda. There you go. He was checking, he was clearing bushes so that Weedy can bring the party. There you go. I was like wondering,
party.
yeah, how does Aaron set up? Like he's the player, he's the
You know what I mean.
he's the payoff.
Now, that level 15, does that also help with Witty having the shortcuts to traverse them across the map?
For sure, I think the shortcut plus the revitalize allows for a re-engage even after the hard dive on the shortcut. Here's the gold graph. Again, a very fast game. So folks, you have to understand that this spike is actually sharper than what one would think. In 14 minutes, they were able to go 10K above RRQ.
The TLID stock is rising right now. Gotta invest in it, man. Look at the difference. You didn't see a single moment. I mean, look at the objectives. There's nothing over there for RRQ Hoshi for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, they were consistently in the lead. Even that one dip is only because they were looking to finish the game, right? It was only because they were putting this this Lord into everything on that final push there.
Yeah, I think this is the Favian shutdown. That must have been the Favian shutdown, and then they clap back into a dominant position. And yeah, no, prior to that, they actually hit like 9K lead, and then the slow dip, and then the eventual finish. So this all happened within a matter of 2 minutes.
14-minute game, game number 1, in Team Liquid ID's favor. Now, how does RRQ Hoshi bounce back? Before we jump into that, we gotta see the bread and butter of what made this happen.
That's right. We'll give the MVP nod over to, well, none other than the usurper Flavor Fave on that Suyo, breaking records. Again, you'll see in the highlights how exactly he did just that. Look at that, he's looks maxing.
Yeah, I like it. So, I mean, we've talked so much about Aaron. We talked so much about his kill, but Favian, I mean, he's one of the players who, when he gets his hand on this Suyo, he is a monster. It doesn't matter whether you pick the Joy. It doesn't matter whether you pick the Fredrin. I'm gonna wreck ya. And he brings the personality along with it, and he builds this aggressive build.
This is the one man I know that threatens every other jungler he's about to face. He wants
to solo kill you.
He wants to solo kill King Kong. He wants to take Sutsujin's jungle.
Oh, man.
And I think that takes a, you know, very specific kind of confidence. And he has the moves to back it up.
Ngeri sih si Favian ini, bos.
He has the Cho pose.
But it's a Suyo main.
Exactly. Deadly, a menace as we look at his highlights through game number 1 up against RRQ Hoshi. Just excellent positioning, 4-1 and 5. Able to get the job done at a moment's notice. A well-deserved MVP.
Sutsujin understands the power spike. Look at this level 3 diving in. Hold surge. And now hold my drink because I'm about to clean house. This was an interesting trade. Look at the trust between Favian and Aran. Like, if that's a match I would play as a Suyo, I would have backed out. But no, they trusted each other. They listened. And I don't know, is it just me or was Sutsujin not as careful as he said he would be in the M chat?
Oh no, yeah, that was all part of the plan, right? That was all part of the plan. It's like, we can be humble, we can be careful, but I still want to solo kill you. You know, I still want to take you out, and the comms are there, and this is what I mean when I said Team Liquid ID just feels like they're getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as they move through M6. Their comms are on point, the teamwork's on point, and even at this last play, it's like whoever pops it first ends up winning out, and Favian hits the winner crown, takes it all.
That's what I'm saying, gentlemen. That's exactly why I predicted for Liquid, is because of this connectedness, this ensemble approach to the game. I think that's what won them the championship, and that's what's leading them to victory here, alongside their penchant for learning on the fly. I think the fact that they had a less than ideal approach into the knockout stage makes them more of a threat.
And they jumped into M6 with a banger, right? They went up against Fnatic Onyx in the beginning of Swiss stage.
They first picked that Angela.
They did. They tried to do the
Not
Angie Lane
Onyx.
combination, tried to take down the Bruno. We all know how the rest of that story went. But now, when you face a team like RRQ Hoshi, who had a cleaner ride inside of the Swiss stage, right? A cleaner ride to the knockout series, just a overall better record. Starting to get tarnished a little bit. We got to see how they bounce back, right? This is their chance to get revenge from Season 14 Grand Finals.
That Game 1 win definitely gave him the charisma to go into the series a little more confident, same way we do with the M6 Swiss Dream Watch, brought to you all by Ferry. Luxury meets gaming with Ferry's first M6 Swiss watches, a special jewelry collection for Jushin and Mia. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. It's a brand new champion ring set for the winners as well coming up, and medals. Follow at Ferry World on TikTok and on the website for updates. Let me show you all something real quick, gentlemen. This is what we call...
Whoa!
Oh, whoa.
It's a winning party.
Okay.
This is the mythic pendant right here.
Just the pendant.
You need to be mythic to be able to get this. You go on the Ferry website, and you put in your ID, they double check. And you have one too.
Yep.
What?
Great. You know, I just want to say one of my favorite parts about buying things is the unboxing experience and good unboxing experience.
Is that why you didn't wear it just yet?
Pop it open. No, I just keep opening it and then closing it and then opening it and then closing it.
They come in 5 rows, by the way. Did they give you the right one?
No, I got a tank.
You're a tank.
How many XP laner?
The XP laners are tanks these days. What are you talking
That's
about?
the sad truth, I guess. Yeah.
So they know you better than you think they do.
Fair.
They figured
Fair.
you out.
They figured me out.
What role do you play?
XP, but I'm sulking. I didn't get one.
Are you mythic?
What's going on?
Are you mythic?
Okay.
In spirit.
Does
Talk,
that count?
Talk to Ferry when you're mythic. Have a Hello Panda for now. There's no rank requirement for that.
It's free for grabs. There you go. Well,
Yeah.
Barry, that's the type of time M6 is on, and hopefully the type of time I'll be on once I hit Mythic.
Go grab one of those, make you feel better. Fuel your game with Hello Panda. Crunchy biscuits filled with a creamy chocolate or strawberry or white chocolate, whichever flavor you get. The ultimate snack to keep you energized. Level up your day and visit Hello Panda's website for more. Feel better, Wheezy?
I'll get him down there.
Okay, go grind tonight.
I'll tell you what, if I have a handful of that
Tonight, you come back tomorrow.
and I rank, I'm getting on the biggest streak the world has ever seen. I'm not losing a single game.
Okay, what role are you in?
XP.
All right, so you want a fighter or you want a tank? Which one? You go tell Ferry you want one. But you need to...
Hilda, so
Okay,
I
so
can
tank.
flex.
Okay, so you guys can be twinning.
Yeah.
Are we putting Florida Brothers back together? Or is Florida Man 3 a thing again?
I mean, you're one of the Florida men, too.
Exactly. Are we
Yeah.
putting it together? Okay. All right. We're putting it together, folks. Florida Man 3 is back together. Real quick, let's get into the mind of the man behind the mic when drafting begins. Here's a quick quote from Coach Saint DeLucas of Team Liquid ID. Familiar faces in a different arena. It's going to be a tough match for us because I'm sure they're hungry for revenge since they lost to us in the grand finals of MPLID Season 14. Coming from the 3-0 bracket, they've had more time to prepare too, so we're likely facing an improved version of RRQ. We don't make it easy for them. No. Don't forget that they're also up against an improved version of Team Liquid. That's what I'm talking about.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying is the journey to the knockouts, I'll say, is more beneficial to Liquid because they had a lot of lessons to learn.
They had a lot of teams to play against. They had a lot of games to hone the craft, right? And you could almost say that it definitely could have worked more in their favor, seen as they did end up making it out, but they got to face against a lot of strong opponents. They got to continue, because if they just would have went straight out, they might still be that same Liquid ID that we saw in round 2, you know, that we saw in round 3.
That tried cheeky things, but only to learn, you know, and find out that you don't do that. So with that said, it's the flip side this time around with RRQ. Backs against the wall, one more game loss, and it's down to match point. What do they do? What do they improve? What do they fix going into the second game of this best of 5? Is the draft up to snuff for you?
I feel like even past the draft, a little bit of the macro, right? I mean, when we looked at the gold graph, all the objectives went over to TLID.
So draft for objectives.
You could draft for objectives. That'll make it a little bit easier to be able to pull them off. I think it's a good start, right? Try and control the early game. If you can do that, you can disrupt the tempo from TLID, because once they get going, they don't stop.
So at least respect the fact that there's a lot of big objectives and a lot of spikes to get if you farm up via these major objectives. So that's something on the to-do list for the mercenary Sutsujin. Slow down the usurper in Favian.
Most definitely, the head-to-head overall, down the line pretty much. I mean, Sutsujin a little bit ahead in gold per minute, but 56 gold. I guess in gold per minute is a pretty decent amount in overall average. But Favian just has this steadiness Fabian just has this ability to kind of pull out on top.
It's a rock solid
Yeah,
confidence. It's
it
just
really is, you know?
like he believes in himself no matter.
Whether he's got 10 health or 100 health, it doesn't matter. He's always ready.
That is the difference maker here between these two junglers. How about we check in on the XP laner? We had a quick chat with Dyron of...
Just in the team's process.
But are you looking for revenge, we ask?
No, that has already been forgotten. It's also their effort that helped them win. And you know the rest. Indo pride.
Emoji, make the sound for the emoji.
I'll leave that one to Trex.
Emoji, 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 hashtag.
All right.
Does that count?
Not very creative, but we'll let it fly. I like that Dyron does not want to be a slave to vengeance. He wants to do this for the right reasons, and he wants to win because it's the mission. Because, you know what? Now I'm wondering, when did Skylar make that promise? And did Skylar share that promise with his current team that if we win M6, we're doing it for the OGs too?
I mean, he already said
Oke
they
guys.
want to beat the record, right? They want to beat that top 3 placement, and this is the battle for a top 4 placement. So this is just one more step toward the right direction. Even though they got off to the wrong foot, the battle is not over yet in this best of 5.
Let's go into the draft here. RRQ on the play. Let's see if they'll adjust. Let's see if it's all in on Skylar once more.
You know, something really interesting to point out here. Yesterday when we saw RRQ playing, when they had the choice to choose, they always choose second pick. But it seems like TLID has pulled their card, banning out that Wanwan, banning out that Bruno, forcing them to not get the trade they want. So this time RRQ finally, with the choice, picking first pick. And this is going to force to shake things up for TLID.
Yeah, Susujin's going to end up with Suyo or the Joy once more, closing up all the gaps. And even more important, I think Skylar's going to get a better matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Wanwan that was dreaded is still available, and maybe that's something he can go in for. The Bruno still on the table. I mean, this is a situation where you technically don't want to ban out the Fredrin because you would let the Joy be free for grabs. But also, if you pick the Joy, then you got to worry about the Fredrin in the first phase.
It's a nice gut check. Susujin has played the Fredrin prior in the Swiss, but what if RRQ, what if KezQ challenges Flavor Fave? Can you Fredrin in the face of our Joy? But we've seen it already. He doesn't need to. He can do it with a Suyo. Phovius taken out away from Dyron. What's RRQ to pick here? Is this Bluyo?
Bruno.
Oh no, Bruno.
Blue no. That's the blue no.
All right.
Bruno bro.
Blue
Like
no.
it.
Kind
Has-
of like Bluey.
Bruno bro.
But what's the response? Cho? Do we pick up the Cho here nice and early? We go for the Hilda alongside the Suyo to lock it in for TLID.
It's a Flavor Fave special.
Yeah.
It's an Aran special. Why reinvent the wheel? Why fix what's not broken?
Yeah, it works very well for them, and I mean RQ. The only big difference at this point is they get the Bruno this time, but TLID still very much drafting exactly what worked for them last time. Will the Bruno be the big difference maker? I think RQ needs to think about, do we slot something different in the jungle, or do we have faith this time that the Joy will actually work out?
I'll tell you now, I think it's a better case for RRQ already. Just by putting a hero that is a little more in the meta, a little more prio in Skylar in the gold lane, does a better job. And look at this, running a Fredrin into a Suyo. Doesn't even have to be a Joy. This is clearly, as they saying, yeah, we're protecting the king here.
Now, okay, but also, do you remember what happened to the Joy in previous series when the Hilda was on the field? It's like the Suyo can work, but when there's a Hilda on the field, there's a little bit of a problem. When there's a Hayabusa on the field, there's a little bit of a problem. So I think this, because at first when I see the Fredrin, I go, how is this going to work against the Suyo? But I think if you go Joy here, the Hilda bullies, right? The Hilda gives you a little bit of trouble. So not a horrible pick overall, I feel like.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Hilda to kind of rush into that Fredrin, right? He's very sustainable. He has the energy eruption, a little bit of CC in his kit, which can make it a little bit more challenging. Now, I like the Aurora pickup.
Federin, bos.
Kind of stops that
Sujin.
Valentina, I feel like, from coming out, because it's not really the best ultimate kind of profit off of with the Frigid Glacier. We are going to be seeing that CC knocked off the table, though, trying to limit the mobility. They don't want something to kind of match up with the mobility of this Hilda on the side of TLID.
More importantly, I think it's the damage profile that Liquid ID have to work out here. The fact that RRQ Hoshi are onto them, taking out the Luyi, would not be surprised if the Vixana follows up next, or even, dare I say, the Farsa. Does haiONE have a Farsa in his arsenal to make up for it? Because between the Granger and the Suyo, that's just not enough. Like, you can't pop the Aurora nor the Fredrin. What more an XP laner? What if Dyren picks up something chunkier? Is the haiONE open? Oh dear God, the haiONE is
haiONE
open.
is still open, may get banned out here. Definitely a possibility, and I think that they don't ban it out, but TLID can pick it up on their own side. Maybe go like Romilo, CXP, Hilda, something of that nature. The Farsa could definitely work, and I feel like since we've already seen Fabian pick these long-distance mages like the Eve, it shouldn't really be a problem. But then they could also go into something like the Valentina. It's been a favor. It's been something that maybe fits their fast play style a little bit more. They still get the Frigid Glacier with that, so definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ Hoshi, they need something to get into the back line. Right now with the Fredrin, with the Aurora, with the Bruno.
It's very honest.
Yeah, it is honest, and it's not closers, right? They need somebody to be able to close that distance.
I don't know if there's room to switch up suddenly, throw that Fredrin into the XP lane, but they are closing up gaps. RRQ Hoshi watched when TLID brought out the double poke. So, haiONE not happening, not on our watch. That's what they used to drop Aurora out of M6.
And it was a clean play too. I think when that Xavier came out, we were all like, huh? And then it just worked out so well. And that's the thing, TLID is able to play the early game. They're able to also push to a later game if need be. So RQ really needs to dig deep here. TLID first pick, do they save? They don't have to pick Mage right now, right? Mage is already picked on the side of RQ.
Yep.
They could hold out, lock in the XP roam right now, and there goes the Cho. So well done. There's your dive to the back line right there. There's your answer to catch the Bruno or catch the Aurora.
Can he even kick the Fred?
Yeah.
Melt him down before he can cause havoc.
And now we gotta ask, how does RRQ Hoshi respond to this, right? I mean, Katat is still available. Ruby would be
They're
good
known
here.
to pick a Ruby on first pick.
Edok played a Ruby.
They're known to do it, especially against a draft like this. This is actually almost the exact draft that they picked Ruby against before. Could be something they lock in.
It's a strong frontline composition right now. From the side of TLID, the Cho, the Hilda, the Suyo. Anything with crowd control could be a problem. Is Tig still available?
Tig is open.
There you go.
They could dig. Let's see.
Oh!
There's the Ruby. Edok special. Throwing on a Benedetta for Dyren for good measure. So far unbeaten in M6.
And I like even the Benedetta. You get the Benedetta, and you get to make up. You get to do damage EXP because you have a tank jungle.
All right. We're seeing here Aran, real quick before this pick gets locked in, doesn't like to eat nasi. He's not a big fan of rice, but he does like no bush is going to be unchecked with the way TLID drafted here. Game 2 has been locked in. I hope y'all are ready for the action. Naisu and Neon will be at your service for this one.
Thank you, panel, for breaking down Game 2's draft. I love it, man. I love it when new heroes obviously come out for the first time throughout the tournament. This time around, it's Novaria. Ingan, it's been a minute since we've seen Novaria.
Man, they used the Savior, now they want to go for another ranged artillery mage. The Novaria is back, could provide a lot of good vision for TLID.
Again, looking at this too, comfort pick still also for RRQ. Is it enough to even out the series? That is the question as we get ready to load up into the land of Dawn. Once again, RRQ Hoshi wants to bring this to a victory. Now, based on their lineup, that's a little bit different, obviously. You know, I'm glad that we are seeing this Fredrin start to pop up once again, especially when you have a certain game plan and idea. how you approach the game. Look at this, Dyron and Aaron. Aaron should be fine. Actually, hold on, Dyron looking for the kill. Does take a couple shots. Aaron's gonna actually be able to back off. Still revitalize for both of them, still available. And that's the thing, you know, some of this early action to start things up, but also to start things up for you guys at home. If you haven't yet, grab the M6 pass. It's now available. You can hit level 75 for free up until December 29th. Make sure you go ahead and grab it while you can. A couple shots already to keep eDOC in check. What do we feel about the eDOC pick once again, this Ruby against that Cho?
I mean, it's a good answer whenever Widdy decides to dive. There's the Don't Run Wolf King that can disrupt the momentum that Widdy can do whenever he decides to go in with a Jit Kundu plus a Wave the Dragon combination, just like what we're seeing right now coming in from RRQ.
What's interesting about this as well is the fact that, you know, I wish we had a count for how much damage is contributed, because that's 3 concussive blasts for RRQ Hoshi. And if they get the lockdown or the setup on the right moment, whether that's the Frigid Glacier, whether that's even just eDOC setting things up, some of that concussive blast, if it's all procced at the same time, can actually burst down and be a surprising form of damage. Now, Iran gonna get caught into the jungle again.
He did, however, force out the flicker coming in from Rins. Now, TLID wants to go for more. Popping into the revitalize, but they're gonna bring down Sutsujin. Wanting more, eDOC in trouble. The Queller is gonna hit, but it's not gonna be enough to take down eDOC.
Not gonna be enough, but that'll be enough to go ahead and make them swing towards this turtle. It's TLID already off to a good start in the early game, trying to replicate what they did previously, and Dyron won't be able to do anything about it. So they go ahead and grab themselves the objective, and now eyes set on the purple buff. Trying to put pressure here to make things worse.
Okay, trying to work on Dyron, and just looking at how the game's going right now, Aran has been playing phenomenal, unbothered in his own lane. Important to note that Dyron opted for the Benedetta type of sustain, because he has the Concussive Blast and the Festival of Blood, and his battle spell is the Revitalize.
It's going to be crucial for him. Again, we've seen iterations of the Benedetta already through even the Swiss stage and up to this point a couple different times. But that tankier Benedetta, also depending on what kind of item build he goes to, could help out. Whoa, Dyron forced to pop that Revitalize just as we mentioned it. But now here.
Oh, they're going to catch Widdy. Here comes the taunt. And all of a sudden they bring down Widdy the Wise. Energy Eruption also connecting. That's why Widdy, he didn't have time to react. He couldn't get away from RRQ.
That's why the Ruby's so good. You know, we saw this just recently, and it's a great pick. eDOC loves to go ahead and play around this, and that's exactly what they have to do. They have to kind of catch people out from TLID, whoever that's going to be. Most of the time it is going to be Widdy, because he's going to be the one trying to set things up. Now, if they do go for Iran later on, then they need enough damage to follow through that, and they just don't have that right now.
Yeah.
But eventually, even when Skylar becomes online, you know, the fact that he already got an early kill will help him scale up against Aaron Shiki. But now Fabian,
okay, one more Queller. Didn't even have to use it as Fabian picks up the kill onto Dyron. Not a good start for this Benedetta.
Fabian only having the 100 strike. Does get a flicker out from his kill. He's going to be fine. Widdy also checking things out on this side of the jungle. Skylar joining him. Not sure if they're going to actually follow through. Widdy half health with the turtles up. And they are everywhere. It just seems like there's a cavalry in every side of the map, putting pressure all over RRQ Hoshi as they go ahead and now rotate. Look at that push, too, that Fabian was able to manage to take up top, and that's why you see him. You know, he broke a record in the previous game. We'll see if he's off to it doing the same here now. Turtles for the taking. A couple check shots here on eDOC, but Rins wants to get a position for this, and Aaron will hold them at the bay right now as Fabian keeps things going. The rest of the team is already making their way here, though. They might want to break out a fight here.
That's a good Astral Echo, just a stun. And here comes the Jit Kundu combination. But eDOC,
nice, eDOC.
Here comes TLID on to attack, though.
Widdy.
Aran forced to use the Revitalize. RRQ Hoshi still standing strong. They're forcing TLID to retreat, but Aran, though, keeping RRQ Hoshi at bay.
Keeping them at bay, tanky enough, but hey, 1-1 for the Turtles right now. And RRQ Hoshi trying to keep things in tow, you know, not get too out of hand. Again, Skylar able to go ahead and just kind of farm up, do what he needs to do. We've seen this matchup so many times now, the Bruno versus the Granger. Aran might get caught here, though.
Okay, now they're trying to work on Aran. 4 members up against him. He's not going to be able to out-sustain that. And that's going to make Aran overthink, can I really out-sustain, or can I really dive deep?
You know, eventually, yes, he will be able to continue to do that. He just doesn't have much right now. You know, He's essentially still working on the first item. He's got the leg plates at least to help with some of the physical defense, but ultimately he needs more time. Even when the Revitalize is down, you know, and that's why the catch is so good from RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah.
They just need to be able to follow through with the damage, and now the focus on this tier 1 in the bottom lane, the conceal.
Nice, Idok.
Time offended play.
Cik.
Rinto on the other
Idok.
hand, Widow for the back line.
Anjir,
Working on
dibalikin,
substitute, they're gonna
bos.
bring down Idok, and the Star Shunner brings down Rins as well. A bit of an overextension for RRQ and a great response from TLID.
Wow, they were feeling pretty good about that initiation, and then they got checked really quickly. I mean, even just a face full of Rhapsody from Aaron Shiki, not where you want to be if you're Idok. So with that, they'll go ahead, kind of reset at this point.
Oh.
Wow, the steal from Yezgil, able to get it with the shot from down under.
And now they're going to gank up onto Dyren as they take down the bottom lane turret. Here comes Fabian with the stun. Even with the Revitalizer, cannot out-sustain 3 members of TLID.
You know, at this point, he is really going to feel like the ghost. You know, just kind of roaming around from a distance and then taking things from you out of your hands. Yezgil, once again, loves these long-range heroes. You know, we saw the preview of the Xavier earlier on, and now with the Novaria. This turtle, though, definitely going to the hands of TLID. Everybody not wanting to approach this area. They don't want to get whittled down. They don't want to get caught. Witty as well, holding down that front side with Aaron. So this is, once again, a lead for TLID that they can just capitalize on. Just like in the previous game, RRQ Hoshi trying to scrap up what they can, and every time their flickers are down, they could get caught out. You know, they could easily get taken down by a setup from TLID.
And just like that, Arun's just going to hide in the bush, use the passive, heal up, and then continue his dominance, his over-aggression, providing a lot of vision for TLID. They do, however, have a 3.8k gold lead. Now they go on a conceal. They might go for Dyren down bottom.
Bisa meren.
They went down
Anjir,
there, but
ngelecok.
Dyren able to get back, disengages. Skylar is going to be the saving grace right now, at least in terms of this Bruno, already sitting at 2-0. Working on his next item. He's got the Haas Claws and Berserker's Fury already locked in, so working on his next Malefic Gun. Once he gets that, once that's locked in, he will be able to actually go ahead and fight with space and some of that extra range to keep TLID in check. But right now, they just need so much time, because look at the pressure Fabian's doing alone by himself. They might try to go for Fabian.
They're trying to go for Fabian though. But again, it's not going to continue. Idok commits already the I'm offended play onto Aran, but Aran remains unbothered. As TLID, just look at the macro. Just look at how they're controlling the map. They have a tanky frontliners in Widdy and Aran. So right now, RRQ Hoshi's having a hard time trying to respond to the aggression of TLID, as Aaron Shiki will get the turret up top.
Turret falls, and TLID looking for more. A couple shots always from a distance. And Yezgil, all he has is a glowing wand. He's got the Enchanted Talisman at this point. So he's going to continue to build up. And Fabian, you know, you can already see the previews of the damage. That's why Leo was talking about the damage profile. You know, that was what's important, especially for TLID. It's hard to play against that when you have this kind of range. You know, how do you approach these fights when you have to get in range to set things up if you're RRQ Hoshi? You know, you're not going to be starting anything from this. Dyren.
Okay. Power Wilderness will connect. And now they're trying to gank up onto Dyren. Fabian, though, still has the Queller. He's not going to commit to Dyren. Escapes with Electro Final Blow. Again with Star Shatter connecting onto Skylar, the proper target, and TLID. Oh! Winning with the kick! Catching Enoch!
What the
right
hell?
away as they try to work on the Lord. And all of a sudden, TLID, they're stepping on the gas. Aran has to revitalize, though. When he again with a conceal, he has the Jit Kundu. Will he committed, though? TLID.
Wow, they're going to get actually forced off. So with that, it is going to reset, so doesn't matter. There's they go in for it.
Glacier, but
Nice.
Aran is going to get caught
Nice.
here.
Okay, Dyren.
And Dyren finally has a kill. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And RRQ Hoshi kiting away the Lord.
Aran's out of this.
Bisa, bisa. Masih bisa. Ini ada
Getting in
kesempatan
position,
guys ya.
Dyren does have that revitalize available if he decides to kind of go in, tank things up. Witty, though, once again, has the Way of the Dragon available.
That's Sonata.
Uh-oh.
And they blocked it. They blocked that Sonata.
Bejir yang CV-nya, Cok. Anjing. Balas sih. Bisa kali. Mundur.
A 2-for-1 trade with
Santai.
I think they're still going to try to delay this out. Aaron Shiki, though, and Skylar in the mid
Anjir.
lane.
Awas. Awas anjing. Awas anjing. Anjir, hampir, Cok.
Ooh, that was close. But ultimately, what a fight for the Lord.
Hampir
Came
anjir.
down to it, and TLID will get that, and Aaron running for his life won't escape from Rinse.
Oke, bisa.
Imagine if that star shutter connects. The TLID is going to make quick work of the outer turrets. They did secure the Lord, but still Skylar remains deathless, 3-0-1. And when we approach the 15-minute, 16-minute mark, when it's really activated, and when RRQ Hoshi starts to work around, starts to play around the fact that they have the Bruno, this is going to be crucial for TLID to end this early.
You can see it right there. You know, Skylar is up there on the damage meters. Like I said, he'd already had
Awas,
the
awas,
gun.
awas, awas.
Eventually,
Santai, santai, santai.
Aaron Shiki now picking up the Sky Piercer. So now this is where Aaron Shiki looks to go ahead and pop off, get the stacks. They're going to walk in with this Lord. And as long as Skylar has that space to work with, the only unfortunate thing is he doesn't have a flicker now. So
Fabian keras,
gotta
Cok.
rely
Mau
on the
udah
heal of his team and also
udah 15
positioning.
aja Fabian.
He'll go ahead and work on the Lord. Oh, there's the
Mati
ball.
dong. Nice, Skylar.
Bring down Fabian on the other hand.
Kasih
The energy eruption coming in from
tahu.
Sustagen Edok. When he continued to play TLID, works on the mid
Susah
lane
aja.
turret, so that's still a trade
Hilda.
RRQ Hoshi was waiting for, a shutdown onto Fabian.
That's a good shutdown. Again, going to the hands of Skylar too. Just dealing with the Lord. They dealt with the push. Get a little bit of extra 1,000 gold there. Witty goes in with a kick.
Off
Awas,
angle kick,
awas,
and now the
Adai.
counter punish from RRQ
Anjing,
Hoshi.
anjing, awas,
Working out
awas,
the
anjing, anjing, hampir Idok mundur, Idok, Idok mundur, Idok, Idok mundur, Idok, Idok mundur, Idok, anjir digas, bos, gak mati anjing, malah Skylar yang mati, Cok.
Will be traded for Skylar.
Oh man, Skylar almost got away. Then they concealed. Then the pole came through, and he ends up dying.
Anjir, malah dibalikin, Cok.
So a
Gila.
whole lot happening there. RRQ Hoshi, though, ultimately getting some important shutdowns and gold in their pockets. Maybe allowing them to go ahead and have a fairer chance against the next Lord take. They've got plenty of time, about a minute or so, to go ahead and readjust and recalibrate. But Team Liquid ID, you know, they want to fight. There was some positioning there, too. And Aaron Shiki still has not gone down yet. So Skylar getting a little bit aggressive. And even earlier in that fight, you know, he didn't have the flicker available. So he was doing that, you know, just a pure positioning and skill.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he actually goes and adjusts his game plan now that he at least has a flicker. Still working on the next defensive item if he's able to get the Wind of Nature eventually.
Awas, anjir, ada Widi, Cok.
Right now he just doesn't have it. And you can see them slowly but surely, RRQ Hoshi getting some work in this game done, but still, how do they fare against the Lord coming up?
I mean, looking at the utility, they have Skill with the Navari that can provide a lot of vision, a lot of slows, not to mention the Astral Echo increasing the hitbox of the members of RRQ Hoshi. So the Jeet Kune, the Way of the Dragon, will connect properly for TLI.
Santai, santai, anjing memang.
The Lord has
Mundur,
spawned. Let's
Cok,
see if RRQ
alam.
Hoshi can contest.
They are in that vicinity, so they're going to wait. They're going to go ahead and clear out that long lane. Aaron Shiki will go ahead and start
Wah,
this
karena gaya,
up.
ini mah-
Rinse picking up the Wishing Lantern.
Ini mah lot lagi,
They wanna get in
Cok.
position. Conceal,
Cok,
going in.
santai,
Now
Cok,
they're gonna
anjing.
connect.
Terus, Skylar, oh, ih, cakep.
One member down, but exchange for Sutsujin. No
Ah, tapi gak kena, euy. Bajir, bajir, bajir.
Popping the Pride of
Bajir.
Ice. And Rins with the flicker out to make sure he escapes, but TLID gets
Cok,
the Lord
anjing.
with a 4.7k
Iron.
lead.
Big Lord take again. Witty, you know, starting things up with Conceal, goes in. But that's the thing. I mean, even Aaron Shiki himself, he's just kind of posting up with the front side and just popping off Rhapsodies and Destinatas. And no one wants to approach that, just because of how much he hurts. And so now RRQ Hoshi again on this defense. They're going to have to get ready for this. One of the difficult things about this, as you're seeing
Gila,
the
anjing.
shots
Itu
come through
kombonya,
from
Cok.
distance,
Combo Granger
is
sama
TLID has so much
siapa sih temanya?
vision. Not even just with a Novaria, but the fact
Nah,
that
itu yang itu
Aran
siapa
is
sih namanya,
literally
lupa
a
lagi,
walking
anjing. Itu
vision.
sakit, Cok.
Like, he is the walking vision. He can spot people out and give that call to the rest of TLID. As now Lord makes its way on the top side. A couple shots. There's the Wind of Nature for Skylar. See if that helps with the defense. There's the
Anjir.
pull, but no follow through. Turret's gonna fall though. Lord finally going down. All base turrets still up and okay for
Udah
RRQ Hoshi.
gila.
But they lose all the tier 2s, and now TLID, do they take a disciplined route even though they have this 7,000 gold lead? Looks like they'll do just that. They don't want to overstep. They're happy with what they got with that Lord.
Yeah, Fabian just really showing his quick hands. Was able to avoid the I'm offended play from Edok with just one dash. And now a successful defense still for RRQ Hoshi. They were able to save all inhibitor turrets, and now they're gonna try to look for a pick off there. So Sujin uses
Susah
revolution, tries
anjir,
to slow down
hilang
Iran,
mah.
while Dyron just keeping
Mending
Tirani
Gengar.
at bay. Here comes Aaron Shiki with a Death Sonata. Trying to dish out the
Anjing,
damage
lumayan
though, but
sakit,
RRQ
Cok.
Hoshi able to out-sustain that.
And that's all he has to do. Arana just keeps doing that, providing the vision, knows he can take shots, knows he has a revitalize, tanky enough, even with the Radiant Armor, Blade Armor too, still working on the next one. So that's something that RRQ Hoshi has to deal with. It's just they have to force themselves to just not get out-visioned at this point. But how do you do that when you also have a Novaria across from you just shooting from a distance? Divine Glaive also picked up. So this is the difficult part. As they get to these next lords, these later lords, depending on how long they can stall out this game. Oh,
Anjir, ngeri anjing.
Here, a couple shots.
Gelo. Santai,
That's what I
tenang.
said. How do you fight against this range, man? How do you even get in position? The only time it's gonna happen is when you
Gila.
actually go and contest the Lord, because then
Ngeri
you have
anjir.
a couple different angles to go from. But even just trying to get in that position, Team Liquid ID has done such a good job at just kind of setting things up.
Yeah.
You know, firing off from a distance, and that's why I said, as long as Aran is just in those bushes, in that side of the jungle, or even around the Lord Pit, you're not going to surprise
Masih bisa
them. You
sih,
don't have
harusnya ya.
the Luiyis or the
Ini kalau
Chits
lordnya
to
ini
help
kena
you
nih
out with that.
sama RRQ kayaknya masih bisa
The
deh.
only surprise factor could come
Tapi kalau
from,
sama
Idok
Liquid ya
side
agak
defended
ngerah ya,
lane.
agak tahu
We did,
ya.
However, see Rins already execute a flicker in Frigid Glacier combination. Unfortunately, only connected to Aran. So if ever they want to go up against a team
Santai,
with
santai,
high
santai,
vision,
santai.
a huge amount of rage and at the
Santai.
same time damage, they're gonna have to catch DLID off guard. They're gonna have to catch them by surprise, make an outstanding play, or even just isolate the damage dealers. Try to reach for Yes kill. and
Santai
Aaron
dulu,
Shiki
guys.
Well, this is where they
Anjir.
started up. We'll see if Idok
Hampir, Cok.
is able to go ahead and surprise TLID. Lord already started up. Witty prepping up, waiting in. There's the concealment.
Awas,
That's a good
awas,
connection of that
awas.
shot, connecting onto three.
Santai,
Idok
si
go
Sujin.
quite low.
Anjing
Aaron
itu
Shiki
decknya
still working on him.
sekarat.
Now, so
Des!
Sujin embraces out.
Anjing, emang kuat,
What the
susah.
down
Susah,
by
Cok.
Aaron Shiki. Here comes the counter-attack
Susah,
away from
Cok.
RRQ. Frigid Glacier is gonna connect,
Anjing.
though. Darren still going
Damn.
forward. Now they're gonna get Witty down. A double kill for
Darren,
Aaron
Cok.
Shiki.
Anjing.
But RRQ will get the Lord.
3 members still alive for RRQ.
Darren,
Hoshi,
Cok.
Dyron able to get the
Ngeri
Lord.
anjing.
But
No,
TLID
no retribution
go ahead
anjir.
and deal with this, clear out the lanes.
Ngeri.
It is a beefed up Lord at this point, almost 18 minutes in. But still, it was only Witty that went down. So the
Gila,
waves will be
Darren.
taken care of. We'll see. Again,
Santai dulu,
Rins,
tahan
Idok,
dulu,
Skylar's
tahan
still
dulu.
up. You saw
Ada
the
Lord, ada
preview
Lord.
too.
Nanti, santai.
Skylar's hurting, man. You know,
Santai,
the amount of
santai,
damage
santai,
he's
santai.
able to do
Kita
with
manfaatkan
just
aja.
one
Kita
kick,
manfaatkan Lordnya.
one auto
Manfaatkan.
even, is definitely showing it does
Santai.
have all the items that he needs, really. Even got rid of the boots. So now, Lord pushing in on the tier 2.
Bujir.
There's the pull.
Unoffended play
Gak
on
kerasa
the
sih,
other.
harusnya sih.
Parries the
Anjing.
Frigid Glacier.
Oke, Skylar udah berkerasa tapi range-nya.
Off the Pride of Light,
Bajir,
he's gonna bring down
range-nya.
Rins as well.
Keciduk,
Now
Cok.
TLID, they made quick work of the Lord of RRQ, Hoshi. No inhibitor turrets taken down. Outer turrets are well intact except for the top lane. And now Sutsujin, they're trying to work on Fabian. Here's the dash out.
Gila, hampir, Cok.
5.8k gold lead still for TLID.
Susah,
Just
udah
like
dapat
that,
juga, susah emang
you
kuat.
take away
Ini
the
Fabian
momentum
emang
RRQ
kuat
gained
anjir.
from getting that Lord.
Fafia terus Hilda anjir
given
emang
this goal lead, it doesn't really
hero
matter. RRQ Hoshi
bangke
is in
anjing.
fighting form. A lot of the times, it's more so of the surprise factor, and that's all on Idok for the most part. Even earlier on for that Lord fight, you know, Witty went in. But then it was just good team fighting from RRQ Hoshi to actually go ahead. And then, yes, Dyron, the fact that he was able to buy time by taking the Lord, you know, that's enough to go ahead and bring yourselves back into the game. And all they need to do is really get past that 21, 22-minute mark, giving themselves a good position for the next Lord. Like I said, Skylar is exactly where he needs to be. Look at the damage already, even on
Santai,
Witty, taking him down with a couple of shots to half health. They just have
santai
to
dulu.
play against this range, and who's going to be the one to tank those shots up every single time? It's Susujin and Idok both playing that part. Maybe Dyron to an extent too has an endless battle alongside with him, and just basically a hybrid build. You know, even with the Thunder Belt, Hunter Strike, and Team
Anjir gak ada,
that
Cok.
pole's not
Gak
going to
kena
work.
sih, bukan gak ada. Ada
So still,
tapi
RRQ
agak jauh.
Hoshi, the work's cut out for them. You know, it's not easy sailing at all, but they will go ahead and get prepared because the battle is going to break out for that Lord 30 seconds from now.
You really have to find a huge pick off here, regardless whoever it is. RRQ Hoshi, they don't have the advantage here. In terms of poke, TLID is well ahead. vision provided by Aran and by the Astral Echo is on their side. So RRQ Hoshi, they need to save up the battle spells, the flickers for the I'm Offended plays that can get to go for the backline and pop Aaron Shiki's Purify early on.
Edok's got it again as long as that flicker and I'm Offended is available. Oh, top side though.
Okay, they're gonna communicate onto Diren.
Diren, mundur Diren. Diren. Mundur Diren. Bisa sih sebenarnya anjing GG emang Diren bangke, mantep
A
mantep.
huge pickoff for RRQ.
Fabian down and the Lord is up. How does RRQ Hoshi play into this? Maybe it's just enough to buy them a little more time because TLID will get in position to defend this and stall this out until their junglers back up. So with that, RRQ Hoshi, good pickup, good usage of Diren.
Please lah, dapatlah Lord, please. Ini mah Susujin, kasih tahu Susujin. Kasih tahu Susujin.
Fabian still 20 seconds away.
Awas anjing, emang bejir. Itu oke, nice. Awas Darren, Susujin please, kenain dong. Maksudnya di sini mati cok. Aduh, itu Lordnya. Ini double kill sih, tapi nggak bisa gitu cok. Mundur anjing. Stellar. Aduh.
It's a wipeout and what a fight it was for that Lord. But man, what a take. TLID comes together and now working on the mid lane.
And TLID with a huge advantage, a 2-0 over the Kingdom.
Team Liquid Indonesia finding themselves a match point.
Ini juga ya Liquid ya.
RRQ Hoshi showing fighting spirit, but man, oh man, could not overcome that charge of the cavalry at that point. Again, the team fighting, the synergy that we're seeing from TLID has been showcased throughout their journey up to this point, and it looks like they're the refined ones. Maybe all that challenge they faced leading up to this matchup against RRQ Hoshi
Kita nunggu ya guys, kita nunggu
really
match
brought
ketiga
them
nih.
to their best yet. Now, will this end in a sweep? We don't know, but we got to break down this game at 2 first with a panel. Let's throw it over there to have them break it
Kita
down.
nunggu match ketiga guys.
The Ghost strikes again. A long haul match, one off the back of Yehezkiel's Novaria. That's match point for Team Liquid ID.
Hey, that's a debut. Novaria on top of that, and a Lord still to top that off. Talk about impressive.
Team Liquid ID is full of debut picks at this point. They've been, I mean, all over the place. And I would say they have a great success rate with them as well. Very similar to Fnatic Onic. They're not scared to push the boundaries and still come out on top with it.
That Novaria pick makes 73 out of the unique heroes picked in M6 right now. So we are definitely in a very healthy place in the metagame, and very talented teams, true powerhouses like the MPLID champions, Team Liquid ID, are bringing them to the table and forcing their old-time rivals in RRQ to respect the potential for this, what are we calling it? The double poke lineup.
Yeah, the double poke lineup, the DP lineup.
What a game. 2-0 right now. TLID, one more win away from earning a top 4 placement over RRQ Hoshi. Can Skylar and the crew turn this back around like we've seen in the first series today? They need to find an edge.
You know, I don't even know who to completely talk about, but there's one thing we have to point out. And it's not like it's an unpopular pick, but you don't get to see it come in all the time. It's that blade armor choice on Iran. And this is this is common. This is a pretty normal build at this point, but it's not very often you get to see it really work out. And there was a few fights at that time. One in particular, the Skylar even took himself out going against Iran. And then we go into Aaron Shiku, who ends up dropping boots for full damage. I mean, just all in types of builds on the side of TLID.
You mentioned that moment where Skylar dropped to the blade armor proc off of Aran, and I can't blame him. He is the, once again, true core in RRQ's draft, and that's what you do, right? When there's a threat in your face, you just do your darndest to be able to survive. And if I'm not mistaken, he was also rocking Aha's claw. So the math that just did not check out. He could not lifesteal enough to save him from the return.
He was just all over the place, invading the jungle, especially in the early phase. You get to see just how much of an impact a Hilda can have, how heavy of a hitter she can be in the beginning phase. Then you top that off with a revitalize on top of that. Talk about unkillable.
One more check on one of the heroes here is the emblem on yes'kill. This is still the way you build a Novaria, despite her being out of the meta for quite a while. You still build the Wilderness Blessing and the Puncture. Weirdly enough, that's also what Rin's did. But it's clear that Rin's here is a utility mid laner. The Aurora is used mainly for her stopping power instead of her damage.
Well, there was no stopping the poking. That's the big problem here. No stopping. Yes, maybe you catch Fabian, maybe you catch Iran, but we saw it even in that last lore fight what was happening. Even with Fabian gone, it's going to be tough for them to try to rush this because there's just too much range, too much damage.
It's disgusting. It's like there's 3 cores in TLID's lineup, and that just breaks the logic and the understanding of economy in MLBB. Looking at the damage output, Aaron Shiki, the Skylar, one of the 3 cores, quote unquote, for
sakit
Liquid
banget,
ID,
Cok.
dealt
Sakit banget
30k
anjir.
more damage.
Fabian
Granger.
emang gak ada otak
The
ay.
more favorited
Si
Bruno, you're
ini
starting to
si
see
Mewing ay.
teams not ban out the Bruno, but find a way to work around it. And then on top of that, take a look at the Ghost of Jakarta.
Mudahan mati match 3
on this
bisa lah.
Novaria debut.
Semangat
That's
RRQ.
113,000 damage. This was a lot longer of a game, though. This was a 21-minute match.
You could have taken the damage on Skylar, added Dyron, and you're close to yes'kill.
Exactly. You could literally add them both. I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm looking at some of the numbers, and Iran also has absorbed 213,000 damage. That is essentially everything we see on the side of RRQ right now. All of it together is pretty much Iran's damage taken stat.
On Aran. Not to even
Just
mention
Aran.
what Weedy does.
Witty was on point with those setups, with the isolation, the way of the dragon. Huge and very impactful. As you are going to see both teams comparing against each other. Skylar and Aaron Shiki.
Again, all in on Skylar. That's a story here. So you would assume that the stats and the gold should have been more on Skylar. They should have found a way to funnel, right? That's the ideal here. But again, just the way that Liquid played that early to mid did not make it easy for King Skylar.
Aaron Shiki just way faster at clearing the objectives, right? I mean, even looking at the turret, not really anything on the board for Skylar that entire game. When he's not able to thrive, that's when you see RRQ have a little bit of a harder time.
You know, I can't just give it up to Aaron Shiki, though, because Aaron Shiki wouldn't be able to do this without yes'kill, without Witty, without the team around him, right? Without Aaron. You need the whole package, and Skylar right now, you know, it's not like he got killed early on. It's not like there was any major issue, any big whiff from Skylar exactly. It's that when everything else is crumbling around, Skylar's not going to be able to take towers. He can't push. He can't do those things.
And here's Aaron waiting for Fabian to make the play, waiting for yes'kill to say, all right, I hit him with the echoes. I'm going to hit him with another Star Shatter. You just wail away. It's so much easier for Aaron to get these numbers. And to be able to get these numbers, he relied on his mid laner. He relied on the Ghost of Jakarta. He just doesn't die. It's yes'kill on that Novaria.
On point, the debut pickup and working in their favor. I mean, the later the game went, the more you got to see it scale. A well-deserved MVP on the pocket pick. We like to say, when it comes to TLID, it's kind of similar to Fnatic Onic, right? They go experimental, but they don't go too far out of the box, right? They don't go something that is as risky. When he's running on this Navarre, he's playing in the back line. But it's his setups that help the team to win these skirmishes.
Yeah, I like the way that TLID goes for some of those unique picks. Is a lot of the times they are in the mid lane. They are in a place where it's a safe position to do it. You're not sacrificing anything too major by deciding to put yes'kill on something like this. Now 3-0 and 14. We said he only gets to die once. That happened in game 1. So now he's just, you know, he's just going to be clearing through at this point.
All right. In defense of the Ghost, my client, he is afforded 1 death per game, not per series.
Okay.
You know,
So he's allowed another one.
Next series.
Do they
next game,
stack?
sure.
Does he get like 2 next series?
No,
Because he didn't
just
say-
one per game.
One per game.
That's why he's called the Ghost.
Gotcha.
He just has once.
Only one.
And for those of y'all wondering, if you want to play a Novaria much like Yezgiel, that last item slot, you'll notice that he only had 5, was a juggle between Divine Glaive, Blood Wings, and a Winter Crown.
He just had the damage necessary, especially toward that late game. I mean, he was bursting down members of RRQ Hoshi. But RRQ Hoshi, it wasn't too far off, right? I feel like there's some glimmering hope for them. I feel like during some of the Lord engagements, it wasn't even a retry battle anymore. It was who could get that last hit off. We got to see not only Dyron get a Lord Steal from RRQ Hoshi, but on the other side, Liquid ID. Yeah, Hezgiel taking one for himself.
It was this right here. But you know what? It's very rare that I say outright I disagree with you. But Steph Weezy, I disagree with you. Because those comebacks from RRQ Hoshi were only possible or were only ever evident if they were able to set up 3 or 4 solid ways. And that starts usually off of Sutsujin finding an angle, Dyron cutting back into the back line, Rins just outright almost solo killing Fabian. Like, those are the ways that RRQ Hoshi could have come back, but alas, that's assuming so much. It's assuming that Liquid ID would take it lying down.
You know what? I think I know what they need to do.
What do they need to do?
When you're feeling down, when things aren't working in your favor, there's really only one option. Hello Panda. Guys, get it. Fill your game with Hello Panda. Crunchy biscuits filled with creamy chocolate, the ultimate snack to keep you guys energized. Level up your day and visit Hello Panda website. Or, oh my, Trex! What is this?
Welcome to the desk.
We shouted out Panda once, and you eat everything?
Yeah.
I was gonna offer something to the kingdom because that's what you said, right? They needed a little bit of sugar.
They're just that
to
good.
reset.
They're that good.
Well, there
I
you
can't
have it.
help myself.
Wheezy's been here one day. How many Hello Pandas have you had, my good sir?
One.
Dolly had one out of the box.
He had one piece.
One piece.
You guys have to talk
That's
about later.
better than most of the other casters that sit on the desk with me. I don't really get the whole box.
Shout out to Hello Panda. As well, a reminder, folks, from the 22nd of November to the 29th of December, the M6 support chest will be available for a limited time. Purchase a support chest for 50 diamonds to get a large amount of pass XP with a chance to obtain a basic M6 pass. Use the basic M6 pass to instantly activate the M6 pass, unlock additional pass rewards, and immediately get Claude Challenger Spark. Hashtag
Ayo RRQ
Greater than
di
ever.
match 3
Hashtag
bakal
LB
menang.
M6.
neither of you get a hashtag no more.
I don't have my glasses
No,
on right now.
we're
I
done.
can't
It's over. We are at match point, and RRQ Hoshi needed you to get that ad read right, and you failed them. Why?
That's Wheezy's fault.
Is it?
I didn't have my glasses on.
It's because he ate all the Hello Panda.
He's low on sugar.
I'm
Trex,
low on sugar.
I'm putting this on you.
Okay.
Once
I'll
more,
take this one.
Florida Man 3 is in danger of being disbanded. Second time tonight. Folks, we have a few moments to reset. And before we get on with the match, we are going to go into a courtside interview. We have the lovely Michelle.
Thank you, our panel. So now it's Michelle with Poji again, and now we are having the ex-coach of RRQ Hoshi, the field with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
So now on the stage, both teams were coming from Indonesia,
Yes.
but I still need to make sure with you which team you're coming for.
Yeah, for sure I'm supporting RRQ Hoshi, right? Because it's my team also. That's why I'm supporting RRQ Hoshi. But because this is the Indonesian match, still RRQ. But if the enemy is not from Indonesia, yeah.
Both teams are your home heroes, right?
Sure.
So, like, did you expect it that they got a rematch so fast in like the knockout stage?
Actually, I already expecting it. I already expect because this is a drawing system, right? From Swiss round to knockout stage. That's why I expect that maybe at this moment, I expect.
So it's like a rematch of your grand final in your qualifiers. So Poji, would you like to bring some question about the grand final in their qualifier?
Yes, sure. So for Coach Phil, do you think, how about you think about this? Because previously in MPL ID for the final, they go full series, 7 games. But for this time, do you think RRQ can go full series against Team Liquid?
At upper bracket final in MPL Indo, we get lost 2-0 first, and then we can reverse sweep also. Yeah, I hope at this moment we can do the same thing lah, because we already lost 2-0 right now. So I hope we can full 5 game.
So you believe they're gonna come back, right? Yeah. Okay. So from that significant grand final in your qualifier to the M6, as a coach perspective, do you think the both team got any improvement has been accomplished in the M6 series?
For sure, got so many improvement. Actually, like maybe from the mechanic, and then, but I also see that the mentality about the two teams from Indonesia, like RRQ and Team Liquid, is mentality up because they are so new player, right? They are the generation player from Indo, and they can play well at M6. That's really good for Indonesia.
So you hope all the players could keep calm, just like the Sujing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good for you, coach. But before we return back to the caster, I have a question, a special question actually. As someone from RRQ, which has the biggest, if not the largest fan in MLBB scene, do you have anything to say to the millions of fans of RRQ all around the world?
Maybe I can say it in Indonesia ya.
Yes, for sure can.
Oke, buat para Kingdom, jangan toxic, intinya jangan toxic, kita have fun aja apapun yang terjadi. Ya intinya mungkin sekarang kita dilihat dari dunia tuh dengan fanbase terbesar lah. Justru karena itulah aku pesan buat kalian Kingdom dimanapun kalian berada, jangan toxic, just have fun, dan tetap kita support dengan cara yang positif. Viva RRQ!
Thank you. Thank you, Fe. I believe your message just cheered them up. So let's check out what's gonna happen in the third game. So panel, back over to you.
Michelle, and terimakasih to Coach Fiel, former coach of RRQ, and to Popo G for sharing insights on this upcoming game. I lost track. Game 3?
Game 3.
Yeah, game 3.
All right, it's been a long day, but hey, Coach did say in the upper bracket finals they were down 2, and then they rolled it back.
It kind of feels like what we seen earlier today, right? When we got to see Fnatic on it up against Falcons. It was the same situation, 2-0. And we all know how that played out.
It is a Florida Man 3 desk.
It is?
Yeah. Not felt so reliant on solely the draft. This time, I will say that there's certain, I mean, TLID, they're mid, they're EXP, and everyone just seems to be really in tune and playing to their best ability right now.
All right, I can imagine that there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders right now. A lot of responsibilities on Skylar, King Skylar. Here's a quick quote from Coach Fiel here on the growth of Skylar. This is actually from Dyren. Coach Fiel was the one we spoke with. As the Indian captain, Skylar is great at giving us directions. Since we are all still rookies, he shares everything he knows with us. He's very different from the person he was back in season 12, so that's about a year and change ago. Before, he had a lot of doubts, but now he's more mature and more experienced. So, again, very evident that even in game, they all look to Skylar for that guidance.
The crown weighs heavy on the King. I mean, he has a lot to kind of keep on his back, right? You talk about the promise he made to the OGs, his former teammates, trying to get more than a top 3 placement. Right now, the battle for a top 4 placement is what is at stake with their match up against TLID. And then also to be a leader to the rookies that are day in and day out grinding with him, preparing for these matches. And right now, facing a deficit of 2-0, that's a hard thing to come back from.
It's definitely a hard thing to come back from, and I feel like at this point, you know, those players also need to start being able to rely on themselves in the game, because Skylar is the goal laner, right? He's the one in the back. He's the one who needs to be able to capitalize off their well-doing.
Yeah, logically speaking, he is payoff, but you need good setup. And so far, Witty the Wise has been on point when it comes to setting up his team. And on the other side, it's Edok. What's been the struggle here? What's been the story? Here's their player head-to-head. Stats say Edok should be the better player, but I don't think roamers can carry the game alone.
It's a little challenging, right? I mean, Edok, even in the last game, he was going for more of a group CC type roamer, right? He pulled out that Ruby.
Time to bring out the Franco. Is it time to just shut down one hero, put it in the hands of Edok and say, you know, it's over? RRQ somehow end up with these Franco specialists.
I mean, it's true. They've had a lot of them.
Year after year.
Cing, ngelag banget, Cok.
Definitely a possibility. It is game 3 at this point. You could bring something like that out and put on the line. And the thing is, it's not even just like a cheese pick. It worked very well yesterday, man. It picked them apart piece by piece. So definitely something we could see. I don't think it would be an early pick. I think it'd be something a little bit later. The thing is TLID has such great poke compositions that even a Franco might not be able to save him.
I reckon. So if ever a Franco, a pocket Franco, especially Franco to turn things around would come out, it would be very late in the draft. Here we are speaking of game number 3 is afoot. The Kingdom up against a corner. 1 game loss away from being knocked down into the lower bracket. Team Liquid ID looking to hit it where it hurts. Strike the king. Make sure that they fall. RRQ on the play. Banning on the Fanny and the Hilda. Respect to Aran. Liquid ID banning on the same heroes for the first 2. Jushin and Matilda.
I like that they finally ban out the Hilda. I think it's a really important ban. It's been getting through, and Iran is just a monster on it. And the Hilda itself is already a very troublesome hero for a lot of teams. So RRQ switching things up, and I think it's the right approach.
Now, with this Cho being banned out, does this open up the door maybe for the Bruno to be picked up first for RRQ? I mean, they could still try and lock in Skylar and something a little bit more comfortable. Maybe even that Wanwan could sneak up in here.
See, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But what follows and how
Bruno's solid.
How Liquid ID plays the response to the power pick Bruno in the middle of the draft is what really matters. So I think it's safe to say if it is open, just take it.
It's the power of the 2-pick swing from the red side.
Bisa,
Just can hit like a truck, and that's what RRQ is going to be facing right now.
Which is why I'm surprised RRQ continues to pick blue side when they favored red so much. It's like that first game really kind of pushed them back. Here goes the risk. Here goes the roll of the dice. Instead of first picking the Bruno, they go for the Suyo. Quick response with the glue and the Bruno.
Yeah. With this glue, super early. A little surprising for me, but a response back from RRQ. I was waiting to see it. I thought TLID would have picked it up, but it's going to go into the hands of RRQ Hoshi alongside the Phoveus.
All right, a couple of power picks came through. I'd say a few rather, because even Phoveus, prior banned over and over again in the series. The glue as well. I wonder if that was worth it for Liquid ID as they close up the first phase with the Joy.
I was about to say it, the Franco. This would have been the game for it.
They have their eyes on Edok. No way, no sir.
It would have felt good after this TLID, maybe even ban out the Wanwan just to really limit down onto RRQ here. But at this point, in this phase of the game, I like TLID's draft. They get the Bruno, they have the Suyo counter with the Joy. It feels comfortable. A lot of things on RRQ comes down to how this Yeeve's going to be able to be played, how they can lock down, what are going to be these final bans. Leo, you got something to say?
What?
What's up? I said you got something.
Yes, I do. How worthy is this glue?
Diambil dong sama Scalar, mantap.
Response. I think the glue is going to keep the Phoveus in hostage in lane.
It checks out.
I think the glue's going to not only keep the Phoveus lane, but do a great job at diving onto this Yeeve and helping deal with the Suyo when the time comes. Like, just consistently jumping around.
But we got to ask, who's going to stop the Joy? There's nothing really to stop Joy in the tracks. Even when you drop down the RWM, it's going to be a challenge.
Question, does RRQ have a Beleric?
Magic is my life.
We're going to find out here momentarily. I mean, it could be a wise answer. Put up against it. Not something we see picked up often, but it has slipped through the cracks.
It's been like the singular, it's been one of the answers to the Joy, right? But it's even then, it feels like it's been a little shaky. It's a
Bisa RRQ.
it's a risky pick.
It doesn't feel very RRQ, especially with their first phase here.
That's fair to say. I mean, RRQ right now, their backs are against the wall. You know, they have this
Mudahan
focus. They-
mudahan
Hold on,
3-2
wait a
ya,
second.
guys ya.
Okay, Mathilda
Karena
is
ini kan
gone. So Phobius,
Liquid udah 2 tuh.
when you get
Udah
into the heart of the
3-2
battle,
sih.
you're gonna have to worry
Masih
about this group
paham
for one.
pokoknya mah.
Yep.
And then it's gonna be hard to chase down a Joy. Then on top of that,
Got Aaron Shiki just kicking you in the face.
yes,
Team is picked.
how's he gonna get out?
And it looks like Liquid ID have allowed the Granger. It looks like that's the only pick left for Skylar here, unless he has something left in the tank. A Beatrix?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, you still have the 1-1, but he normally only pairs that up when he has a Cho, when they have the Franco, when they have something that has some hard lock to allow Skylar to capitalize on it. So I feel like, yes, Granger probably the only choice. TLID needs to pick Rome at this point. Do they go for the Tig, maybe?
That's what I was about to say. Well, Tig can go on both sides too. So I think it's a high value target.
Siapa nih?
Should lock it in, but they're gonna go in for the
Valentina,
Valentina instead.
anjas.
So we're gonna have double
Oh, Valentina
artillery
tuh
for both
apa ya?
sides.
Banyaknya sih, banyak
Very rare.
bisa di counter apa aja sih. Maksudnya
Edok does
Bejir,
have it. I was about to say,
Edok.
that, Yehezkiel actually puts himself in the
Belerik, Cok.
crossfire.
Keluar lagi
the
Belerik.
Mr. likes to play fair. He likes to play safe. So
Berarti-
picking the Valentina here is definitely
Oh ya,
gonna
berarti
get closer to the front lines.
MM-nya
How do they close the
Skylar-nya
draft up?
ini
They
sih,
still
Granger
need a
berarti.
solid roamer. What's Widdy the Wise gonna play here? No Cho, no Chip.
Tig.
Berarti
It's still
Susujin
on the
pakai
table.
Soyu.
Still not open. Yeah, Tig.
There's not too many options.
Does he get out? Hylos?
Hylos is open. Could be solid. You get the
Hylos.
revitalize. You have plenty of
Gatot
options.
open ya?
It's a counter,
Gatot, Hylos
soft
open ya?
counter to
Kayaknya
the
itu
real
sih.
world, you know, like you're able to pull yourself out. Yeet.
Well, as
Go for
Rock
something
winds
like-
down,
It's like
we
Coba
are
nih.
gonna go ahead and see the Carmilla
Carmilla ya
for
guys.
TLID.
Little Birdie told me that if there's nothing left to pick, Weedy just goes Carmilla. So
When they can't think of anything, it's
yeah,
just, all right, let's do Carmilla.
it's just a solid pick. So let's see if TLID can go for the throat here, end the series in a sweep. Let's go over to Jose Ingan and Naisu.
Yuk, bisa yuk.
Thank you very much, panel, for breaking down again game.
Bisa yuk,
threes
RRQ bisa
draft.
yuk.
I think I know the little birdie they're talking about again.
Kasih
with
poin,
Widdy and
guys.
This Carmilla pick. Egan, how we feeling about the draft?
I mean, I like the Belleric. Even the panel called it already. It's a good counter up against the Joy. Whenever the Joy decides to go for the electrifying beater, then just one Wrath of Dryad can actually do the job and stun the Joy and keep them off their tracks.
Ah, man, the Belric pick has been very interesting throughout M6, even back in the Swiss stage. To create a locking down certain choke points,
Kasih
especially when you want to be able to
paham.
move around at the RQ
Yuk, bisa yuk, bisa, bisa, bisa. RQ
We'll see
bisa.
if it's in
RQ bisa, RQ.
RQ's plan to take it to a game
Ayo, 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 ayo,
ahead
bisa,
of
bisa,
them
bisa.
instead of getting swept here by TLID. Because right now, they need the adjustments to come into play
Oke,
as they go
oke.
ahead and start things up. TLID has been all over the map.
Kira-kira menurut kalian siapa lagi yang menang, guys? RRQ ataukah Liquid?
Even just like this,
Komen,
in
komen,
early
komen,
game,
komen.
Really putting pressure on, knowing the limit of how much they can get away with, and even holding on to this.
Speaking of game number 1 and number 2, this is what has been happening. Aran just really dominating the XP
Arannya
lane,
pakai itu ya.
not letting Dyren play. He did use the Hilda twice. Now it's going to be the glue, but still, it looks like it's the same story. An aggressive start on the XP lane.
Aggressive start right now. So far, that's been the trend or the theme of this series alone. Again, against these two powerhouse teams from Indonesia, really knowing their own play style and how they like to roam around the map. But you know, just like our panel kind of broke down earlier on, it just seems like
Santai,
you know,
Skylar.
some of the challenges that TLID face there going
Anjir, lihat Granger
forward
kayak
with the Swiss stage, they
Nathan,
really
anjir.
refined
Skinnya
their
hampir
gameplay and
sama,
their
Cok.
game plan. And RRQ Hoshi, you know, they had a great time too. They were one of the first teams. or the
Mundur,
first
Idok,
team
Idok, Idok.
to knockouts here.
Santai. Anjir, gak
Gonna be able
kena.
to get away, Fabian.
Bisa kali. Bisa kali. Anjing, awas mundur, Cok. Mundur, please, please, please. Please, jangan maksa.
Rins on the other hand,
Jangan
trying
maksa,
to work
Cok.
on
Please,
Widdy.
please, please.
Still no casualties for
Anjir,
both of
tegang
these
banget,
teams,
Cok.
but this is RRQ Hoshi just saying that you can't repeat what happened during game number 1, game number 2, where you just keep on invading and invading without any response from the kingdom.
You know,
Santai,
I think we
santai,
have to
santai.
wait to see what happens, especially after the first turtle breaks out, just because the nature of these two lineups and how they're going to work, it's already up. It's already going to be spawned up and started up by Sutsujin. So already using just the real world manipulation to go ahead and just take it as quick as possible. So RRQ Hoshi will get the objective locked in and secured. First turtle of the game. Good decision there to go ahead and just take it, blitz it down.
Yeah, RRQ Hoshi clearly having they're decisive now. They're really going for these kinds of decisions, wanting to commit. And now they have a slight advantage compared to game number 1, game number 2, wherein TLID was just really controlling the mid-river, the neutral objectives. This might be an opening for RRQ Hoshi.
We'll see it once again. Skylar taking a couple shots here against Aaron Shiki, and when we look
sakit ya, anjir, Granger sekarang. Gak ngerti anjir.
Whenever you have the Suyo, you want to be able to put pressure on the jungle, and that's exactly what Sutsujin will do this time around. Like you mentioned, it's them in this game 3. It's RRQ Hoshi to set the pace and find even the space in enemy territory in the jungle to go ahead and take it if they can. But with the Team Liquid ID's lineup, you know, this is a more of a slow burn, if you will. If you can't get things going with Fabian's Joy early on, it's really that later portion of the game where you start to shine. I mean, even the Bruno alone.
Main santai, farming dulu guys, baru war bos.
And then again.
Oke, Darren, awas santai. Masuk. Aduh. Jadi itu anjing, Bruno jadi umbal guys.
Very interesting too, you know, not even needing any revitalize up there because Witty's down here protecting that gold lane, and now they might make a play.
Bisa kali,
Witty's gonna be fine.
Hampir sih.
Still holds on, and that's the thing, you know, with this Carmilla pick is once you are able to go
ahead
and lay down a curse of blood and set things up, I'm wondering if they'll be able to capitalize on that, because Yehezkiel will most likely, I would say the majority of the time at least, take the real world manipulation like he has right now.
Yeah.
But we could see him change things up, you know. So far every single lane though has just been a duel, you know, back and forth between the XP and the gold. Both teams just kind of the trio mid lanes go and rotate together. Into this objective now. Second turn of the game going to be smarted up. RRQ Hoshi. But it looks like this
please jangan blunder. Nice.
Still won't make it in time. So now 2 for 2. RRQ Hoshi building up on the gold lead now. Nice and comfortable at this point.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if we've seen a lot of onto the bottom lane though, they want to extend their lead by trying to go for the gold lane. 4 members of RRQ Hoshi rotating down bottom.
Oh man, everybody's gonna show up for this one. Witty taking a couple shots.
RWM set up to cut them off. Awas, santai, awas. Anjir, Idoknya dikunci, cok. Bejir, Skylar. Anjing. Oke, Sutsujin atuh. Aduh. Riz mati. Tinggal Darren masuk. Apakah mati? Tidak juga, bos.
Oh man, they wanted the fight and they tried, but Team Liquid ID comes out with the win in the exchange. Really great positioning from Aaron Shiki, even not to go down. And they were put pressure behind the turret, behind the tier 1. But RRQ Hoshi wasn't able to capitalize on the way they wanted to.
Yeah, that was a good goal for Yehezkiel to pop the real world manipulation, forcing Idok to cast right away the Wrath of Dryad. That's why it gave an opening for Fabian to just go for Skylar. Because there was no catch during that time. They were able to maximize the kit that they have because they know that RRQ Hoshi expended a lot on trying to bring down Yehezkiel.
I'm even surprised because Drian went in, he flickered forward, but still couldn't cap out a kill from it, so there's still kills here for RRQ Hoshi. But the fact that they got the objectives early on, you know, it's nothing too crazy. The gold lead that they had was diminished. So this is the adjustment time, and also where TLID's lineup starts to shine a little bit more. Maybe still they have a hard time getting this next turtle, but by the time we get to those lords, TLID will have the itemization that they need. We'll see, they're getting in position to go ahead and contest this as they rotate up here towards the top. Aaron Shiki starts it up, and Aran keeping them at bay for now, but Idok there also on the front side. Both teams still, Yehezkiel holding on to the RWM. Has it available, so both junglers now getting in position.
Guys.
Skylar a part of this fight too.
Don't
have that much just yet, but they're going to go ahead and stand off for the turtle. Taking a couple shots, both trying to set up the mages, trying to find that.
Okay, real world manipulation going to be casted.
Bejir.
Oke.
Nice. Darren. Bejir. Mamam. Anjir. Nice.
Coming in from RRQ Hoshi as they take down 3 with
FIFA
them.
RRQ.
Skylar is still alive.
FIFA
Still alive. They're
RRQ.
gonna force off the turtle here. suisogen was starting it up, but with their jungler down, TLID can't secure it just unless enjoyyy actually brings
Please,
the load
suisogen.
up. suisogen taking a couple
Anjir,
shots there,
hampir
but
sakit
Skylar
banget,
there
Cok.
help him out.
enjoyyy with a flicker
Set, set, set.
though.
Oh, nice.
To bring down
Ambil, Cok. Oke.
And that's the turtle as well.
Itu dia, guys.
But
suisogen.
there you go. Again, the pendulum swings now for RRQ Hoshi. Able to pick up the objective now, 3 for 3.
Masih bisa.
We'll see if they can maintain the lead. Skylar definitely wanted to get revenge from earlier on, and he got it. Able to keep things together, but Fabian popped the electrifying beats.
Bejir.
By
Wah,
three
anjing.
with the, along with
Dikunci,
this,
Sok.
is a Fabian.
Dikunci, Cok.
You're gonna break down suisogen.
That was almost, we could have almost said that was a solo kill, but it wasn't. But still trying there, of course, fighting in the jungle right now. But TLID has some work to do. They got to be able to go ahead and farm up what they need. enjoyyy, hasn't had the best time to farm up on the Bruno, and Skylar as well. Both gold laners start to shine later on, but even looking at the itemization, still working on the third one. enjoyyy, again, he had the Haskaloss rushed. He's now got the Berserker's Fury. And over on the other side, Skylar, BOD, Hunter Strike, now locked in, still working on the next. Once that Malefic Gun comes up, that's always where we see the power spike, especially with the Bruno. So Witty, dropping the Curse of Blood.
Forcing
Awas.
out the flickers from RRQ Hoshi.
Santai.
Through manipulations connecting. And TLID just trying to soak up the
Jangan
damage.
arahnya dong.
Split to try and walk away.
Yeah, he's going to just go ahead, get out of there. Burning the split. It's going to be fine. He's tanky enough. You can see it. He also picks up the Dominus Ice. So they're just trying to hold on to the tier 1. Again, these are so crucial leading into that first Lord. All for the space. Witty, though.
Okay, Witty with the sun onto Rin.
Okay, awas, santai. Santai, anjing, joy-nya babi emang.
Gonna take down one. suisogen on the other hand. They want to right back there. Red goes in.
Nice.
Gonna bring down Aaron Shaky. He's gonna fall down also. But the problem is TLID, they lost Aaron Shaky.
Oh, man, Dyron jumps in again, but under the turret. We'll just get told to sit down. No airtime for you. So 2 down, the 2-for-1 exchange. Lord is up now. RRQ Hoshi still holding on to a lead, but you can see how how they have to dissect these team fights because of the fact that we also usually see 2 real-world manipulations come up, and they have to play around that. Skill, taking a couple of Rhapsody shots. Oh, bobbing and weaving, trying to get out.
Bejir.
One more. That's
Sakit
not
banget, dikit lagi, Cok.
Witty is there to try and make sure to block out the damage coming in from Skylar. Now the Lord has respawned here. RRQ Hoshi, 5 members are surrounding the Lord pit.
RRQ Hoshi's gonna blitz this. They're gonna try to delay it for TLID. There they go,
And
but
they
it's
get the
secure.
Oke, suisogen, mantap.
suisogen, again, all of that with skill getting forced to basically go heal back up. They didn't have a choice, so they just see it. Great decision for RRQ Hoshi to go ahead and just secure the Lord.
It's really the pokes that comes from Skylar and the range also that you get from Rins. Just look at that. Not even full committing, not even full diving onto the members of TLID. They're able to force TLID to
Anjir,
walk away
kaget
to
banget, Cok.
retreat because the damage coming in from Skylar with the Death Sonata is just too much. And as they make quick work on the mid lane turret, they have that Lord up top.
They have the Lord pushing in, BOD now for suisogen. Also Skylar, he picked up the Sky Piercer earlier on. So there was a little bit of push there from Fabian down to the bottom side. Might still try to cut that wave a little bit longer. Well, the rest of the team deals with this Lord. A Malefic Gun now for enjoyyy. Edok going in position.
Goins in, paired up with a real world manipulation. Here comes the Death
Oh!
And the Queller to bring down Skill. 1 member down for TLID. They're trying to make quick work of this Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken down, but RRQ Hoshi, they ain't playing around. They want to go for more. They're going to pop the energy shields in the mid lane. TLID has to defend this.
Energy shields are going to be popped. They still hold on, of course, after just that first push with the Lord. But man, RRQ Hoshi able to go ahead and cap out some kills, get turrets. This is exactly what they need. Fabian, though, might be starting a fight.
Oh, okay, electrifying beats is there. Forced to use out the Wrath of Dryad coming in from Edok. No casualties still for TLID, and they managed to save the inhibitor turrets.
That's really one of the things that TLID has to do. If they can get the Wrath of the Dryad ultimate out from Edok, then that's a big piece of utility that's gone, because that is locking down the members of TLID when they try to rush forward. We saw that exchange earlier on in the mid lane, and so that's why you see them working so hard for it, even if it's Aaron, even if it's Fabian to an extent.
Okay.
Witty. Oh, they're going to press
Santai.
it again.
Forced out the flicker from
Anjing.
Skylar.
Oh.
Manipulation coming from Yenskiel, but gonna be taken down by the original one.
Susujin, ngeri. Cika Susujin.
And now Dyron enters the picture, gonna bring down Aran and Aaron shaking
Oh.
as well. A double for Susujin. Fabian has to
Ngeri.
retreat, but it
Anjas.
looks like RRQ Hoshi, they're gonna circle around Fabian.
Fabian on the run. Still in the mid lane. It's going to be pushed
bisa,
by
Cok.
Sutsujin. He's all left alone.
Fabian. Anjir, gak
He
kejar, Cok.
gets out, but look at the base.
Kasih tahu.
RRQ Hoshi with a beautifully executed
Menang,
play
euy.
will manage to extend the series and take game 3.
Menang, euy.
RRQ Hoshi
Masih ada
takes a
kesempatan.
game in the series. It's
Santai.
not gonna be a sweep today,
Masih ada kesempatan.
But TLID, great adjustment this time around with the draft, and the execution was exactly what they needed. Now, can they continue to do that? Can we get another 5-game series on our hands, just like we had in our first
Masih ada kesempatan,
matchup?
guys.
Well, for RRQ Hoshi,
Tenang.
that's what they have to answer. Can they continue to do that? Can they taste the victory again in this 5-game series?
I think they can. They have to regain back their momentum. They have answered the problems that they've been facing for the past 2 games. And let's see how TLID will react towards a Game 3 loss up against RRQ Hoshi.
See what adjustments are made, but we'll also see what our panel has to say about this game. Gentlemen, what do you think about it?
The kingdom is on
Kita
the
tunggu
board.
match
And when you're
keempat,
talking about
guys.
the brawl in Bantu,
Ngeri
there's
pokoknya
no
mah.
way you end it
Ngeri
with
pokoknya
a
mah.
sweep. RRQ forcing us to go into game number 4. Gentlemen, was the answer all this while ban the Hilda?
I mean, it's been very
Hilda
effective,
di-ban,
right? It's stopping
it's
them
okay.
from engaging as easy as before. Stop Aran and what he's comfortable on, but also you manifested it, Leo. You talked about the Belleric being a potential answer to the Joy.
I think it was stacking circumstance, like just the matter of the Hilda ban, the Belleric into the Joy, Skylar on a solid pick, the first pick Suyo and Sutsujin too.
Yeah, I feel like everything kind of worked out in that draft. For the first time, they felt a little bit in control, and the Hilda was definitely the first piece to complete the puzzle, right? It was the start of things working in their favor, and then once they have that, it gave them the ability to be able to go the Belleric. It gave them the ability to be able to counter the Joy and kind of stack things up along with Skylar.
For the first time in a while, Yehezkiel has died more than once. The Ghost has suffered 3 deaths in this game, and did I not say this? Did I not say that he's going to have to put himself in the line of fire more often here than he has in, what, half a dozen games in M6, and suddenly things change.
It's starting to see the cracks in Team Liquid ID and RRQ Hoshi. Their castle is not looking to be sieged today. They're looking to go in for a game number 4, a chance to even out the series.
A solid stopper against the Cavalry's charge. More of that Valentina. We've seen this many times in many an esports event in MLBB Sports, where the Valentina struggles to find an ult to steal and just sits there. Because look, if you're... All right, we know for sure he wants to steal the RWM, yes? If you can't find Rins, what do?
You don't do anything. You sit there and you try to look and you try to search, or you die 3 times. Another thing that a hero that couldn't do much, the Carmilla, right? It felt okay. The idea was kind of there, but we saw a few times that Witty was only able to catch 1 person with that ultimate, only able to catch maybe 2 people with that ultimate. RQ has a type of composition that has poke along with dive, along with Dyron, who's just all over the place. So there wasn't much target, and when they did catch 1 or 2, it felt like RQ was just brute forcing through it. It's like, fine, we'll take this blood pack to the face, we'll take this curse to the face, and then we'll hit you back in the face, and they would win out on top of it.
And everybody had some decent damage from the side of RRQ, even Team Liquid ID. But I gotta ask you guys the question, right? We compare TLID and Fnatic, Onic all the time when it comes to the X Factor picks, when it comes to out-of-pocket picks. And Fnatic, Onic, their struggle up against Falcons was the X Factor picks. That's when they started losing control of the series, and we're seeing the same pattern happen here again for our second series.
You're saying the download plus the lack of new tricks. At least executable tricks, because Liquid ID, you know, they made the DP work, the double poke, but now here, when they suddenly have these, you know, easy to rely on Valentina and Carmilla, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
I don't even think it was exactly that they did this as a cheese pick. I think they were RQ for once kind of forced them into this by banning the Hilda, by taking the Eve early, by taking that Suyo. It forced them to pick a, force Yehezkiel on a mage that isn't a backline mage. It forced Witty onto something other than the Cho, onto something other than what he's comfortable on, and it faltered.
And this is Liquid ID when they're passive, when they're not allowed to flow with what they want to do. And now suddenly RRQ is in the driver's seat. Let's see how the defending champions of Indonesia are able to clap back and regain momentum. Let's award our MVP this time around from RRQ. It's the mercenary, the babyface assassin. It's Sutsujin.
The Suyo able to dominate on the scene yet again. I mean, look at the build, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do. But he pulled through for the team, right? 5-1-4. KDA, just a force to be reckoned with. But again, I think this is just more the story of the draft, which is kind of leaning in on who's the victor for this series.
Yeah, they won that game before he was able to even get max items, and that just says something right
Oh yeah,
there.
very, very fast.
Very quick, and Sutsujin played around those turtle pits very well, able to control a lot, able to kind of hold back line, able to dash around and use this Sutsujin to the best of his ability. Now, one thing I want to point out too, in this matchup, very different than our last matchup, the Suyo has been winning out against the Joy. And whether it's due to the picks around it or not, it's just an interesting tidbit.
I think it is indeed that. It's no longer just the hero-to-hero
Let's go
individual
streaming
stats.
RRQ vs
It's what's
Liquid.
wrapped around it. And I agree, because again, folks, we're spelling it out for you. The draft just wasn't as well executed.
Ayo, let's
for
go.
Team
Let's
Liquid
streaming
ID
RRQ
here
vs
in game
Liquid.
number 3. Hence why Sutsujin Suyo just run roughshod through game 3.
And you know what's funny? I feel like during the beginning of M6, we were finding teams looking for ways to work around the
Ayo,
Bruno.
let's go.
But now
RRQ
you're starting to
vs.
see teams find a way to work around the Joy.
Yeah, finding ways to work around it, or finding them to at least pick a comp that doesn't work around it, in a sense. I love that that last play that we saw there, the Death Sonata, using the Death Sonata
Ayo,
to
let's go
roll
streaming
out of
RRQ vs
the,
Liquid.
to roll out of the RWM. Very clean play by Skylar. It finally feels like we got to see a game where his team was working, so he was working, So he was able to make the plays that he needed to. And it's good to see RQ in that type of form.
Finally, for the first time, the payoff has been set up well for King Skylar. Can they keep up the momentum? We're about to find out as we roll into game number 4. The fact of the matter is, it all starts in the draft. The chess-like battle between the coaches, Coach Kezcute and Coach Saint DeLuca's gotta get locked in. Speaking of chess, magicchess Go Go is a multiplayer strategy game now soft-launched in Malaysia and Singapore. Pre-registration is now underway for other APAC regions, folks. There's no need for fast fingers, no need to be like Sutsujin, no need to be like Favian, because all you need are strategy and luck. Those are your keys to victory. Team up with your favorite heroes and strategize with friends wherever and whenever. Put your strategies to the test, outsmart your opponents, and claim the ultimate victory. Anybody want to MCGG later tonight?
Down.
Hey.
I'm totally down. GG.
I've never been a chess player, but I feel like now's the perfect time to start.
This has nothing to do with
Dude,
chess.
actual chess.
Nothing. This is just MCGG. So folks, check it out now. Open up your Play Store, open up your App Store. Game looks amazing on the new ROG Phone Pro 9. With that said, we are setting up for a quick break. Allow our teams to reset. Allow everyone to go grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the bathroom, take care of business, because you're not going to want to miss possibly match point coming up. TLID versus RRQ Hoshi here on M6. We'll be right back.
Iya dong. Selamat datang di channel kesayangan Anda, Anjas. Untuk sementara kedudukannya RRQ vs Liquid 2-1 ya guys. Masih ada kesempatan. Jadi tenang, aman. Channelnya ngacak ya, nggak tahu apa ya. Yang penting masuk pokoknya mah, yang penting streaming lah. Oh ini mah channel friendly ya guys. Cuma pendidikan aja. Mabar guys. Iklannya lama banget dah. 5 menit guys. Iklannya 5 menit. Boleh sih. Tapi ini lagi dicas cok HP-nya. Bisa kali malam push manja asik. Wah, ini kayaknya yang dari IG nih pasti yang nonton nih, kayaknya dari IG deh. Terungkat Cigana RRQ. Mual, kalem, masih bisa. Terungkat. Masih ada kesempatan. Kalau apa Sujin main mah. Then we have the EXP laners, usually playing tanky heroes. They poke and zone the enemy to create opportunities. Alright, let's see another fight commences here. Gear goes in, it's gonna be a lot of damage played. While the roamers pick to fill the team's needs and support if needed. EXP laners must win their lane and protect their tower with aggressive confident play. Tebak skor guys, berapa guys? Tebak skor RRQ vs Liquid. Kalau gua masih habis ini menang terus sih RRQ ya. Jadi 3-2 ya kayaknya. For junglers, whether it's frontline tank utility or assassin early game assassin burst, they form the core of the team. They act on the space created by their team to finish off objectives, utilizing power spikes with the early game advantage they get from farming the jungle. Ayo dapat lagi, masih lama cok, dapat lagi cok. Baik, Ujin lagi ada roll scaler enggas parah. Iya betul banget cok.
describe the roles that make MLBB greater than ever.
Itu ya mah kasih paham, guys.
A new era begins at M6. But who are the rising superstars leading the way? In Latam, Maycam Evolve emerges as the new gem of the region.
Tadi Favianya agak ngeri ya, anjir. Favianya agak ngeri, Cok.
Fierce adaptability and rookie sensation Super Nahuel. The Dynasty Enders made history.
Si Mewing ay.
Defeated RRQ Akira after a 2.5-year reign. At MTC Turkey Championship, S2G Esports rises as a new challenger. Led by Sigibum's superstar performance at the gold lane, Pagu's playmaking, and begins rotation, they are ready to shine on the world stage.
Yo, 1 menit lagi, 1 menit.
In their M-Series debut from MPL Cambodia, CFU Gaming is ready to strike. With M2 veteran Bobby and core members Detective, Z, and Wadu. Can the Sharks are primed to make waves on the world stage?
Iya anjir, emang si Favian mah bisa non wae eta ya hero anjir.
To the M-Series is RRQ
Linknya ay. Terus apa lagi ya? Si link si Favian teh. Joy anjir.
lethal skill. And led by Skylar, this squad of young stars is on a mission for global dominance. The Indonesian cavalry made a bold gamble by swapping their lineup with MDL rookies. Uncovering gems like Fabian, the deadly jungler, a calculated roamer in Witty the Wise, and King Aaron Shiki, the next level gold laner. Team Liquid ID rises as a new M-Series challenger.
Link Soyu apa Joy. Iya anjir, banyak pisan. Pilihan Favian mah ya. Favian acu ay. Ya, kita mulai ya. Match ketiga nih. Tiga. Keempat, guys. Let's go, RRQ.
Welcome back to the M6 World Championships. You're smack dab in the middle of an upper bracket bout in the semis between Team Liquid Indonesia and RRQ Hoshi. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Trex and Wheezy F Baby. And does that stand for Finisha? What does Liquid ID need to do to get back on the horse and bring it to the kingdom? Because they were in control for what? The majority of the first couple of games.
Well, it seems that the later we get in this series, RQ Hoshi, they're developing more strategies in the draft to force picks into the hands of Team Liquid ID that they're comfortable going up against. If we start with, let's just say Witty, right? He runs this Carmilla, and which wasn't really that effective. I would say a little bit of an out-of-pocket pick, which RQ Hoshi was trying to force in his hands. But then you also have to look at other players as well, like Ezekiel, the Ghost of Jakarta. You mentioned he likes to play the backline mages, but then they force his hand, force him on something that's a little bit more up close and personal, and then he finds more than one death in the game.
Coach T, what's gonna budge?
I think blue side's gonna budge here. TLI
Bentar guys ya, masih nunggu nih.
most likely secure it, and this means RQ has to really think and dig down. If the plan is to force Witty and Yehezkiel into things that maybe they're uncomfortable on, do they steal those away in the first pick instead of prioing something else like the Suyo, you know, something other than the Bruno? Maybe go for the immediate Yve, maybe go for the immediate Cho. Some of those picks that Team Liquid ID have been doing so well on.
So I reckon it's gonna come down to the coaches. Coach Kes Cute, Coach NM, they found the spot where it hurts. to attack Team Liquid ID. And now it's up to Coach Saint Lucas and Facehugger to say, hey, we can adjust. Again, it's the mid duo that it seems like RRQ is just putting a salt in the wound on. You're right. It is going to have to be that sacrifice on the Suyo, sacrifice on the Bruno / Granger to make the difference. Going into game number 4 now, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, match point for the defending champions. The Kingdom on the up and up. Now we're going to see finally
drafting.
2-pick swing. Liquid ID on blue.
Okay, and they do the same exact thing they did in game number 1. They take out the Bruno, they take out the Wanwan, and now the Eve is thrown into the mix. But the big difference for RRQ this time is taking out the Hilda.
Match keempat menang siapa guys? RRQ atau Liquid?
Game 1 and 2,
Komen.
The Aaron Hilda's just too much to deal with. We're gonna get it off the map.
Aaron Hilda.
Aaron Hilda.
Because there's Aaron Shiki.
If there's no Shiki at the end,
then it's Aran.
It's Aran.
Understood.
Well, now
Hilda di band terus, cok. Anjir, sakit emang. Bukan sakit sih, tebel. Kalau Hilda tebel, cok.
Which did walk. This is very similar to game number 1, right? The Zushin walks because you go for that Wanwan pick off instead, and the Zushin was one of the deciding factors in how Team Liquid ID was able to secure victory.
So does Yehezkiel dictate the pace? Because this is one of the 2 problems that TLID need to solve. Does RRQ steal the Cho? Does Edok take the Cho right here, right now? Is it Chuyo?
I think you do. I think Chuyo. Chuyo's a solid up front lineup, and it gives you flexibility. It gives you answers. The Wanwan and the Bruno are already gone. But then you do offer
Wanwan
up
di band,
that,
Bruno di
Granger,
band,
right?
cok.
So maybe they lock in the Granger here. No, Aurora.
Surora.
Yo. We're reaching now.
Almost. Why the Aurora? Is the stopper that important? They're clearly, they're telegraphing the wall set up for King Skylar.
I feel like they're up to a sneaky play. I mean, even considering they picked up their mage, knowing that a mage was already on the table.
Yeah.
So they have something up their sleeves. They're not going to count it out just yet. But TLID, they're not going to waste any time on the draft. They're going to go ahead and pick up this glue alongside the Alpha.
It's clear that their focus is still on Aran. They know that Aran is such a game
Oke.
changer. No matter what
Soyu lagi,
hero
Soyu.
pick. So,
Bang,
you know what?
tebak
We'll
draft
still
pick.
pick the glue.
Boleh.
I see it.
Flavor
Siapa ya?
all of the gloves off and it says, you know what, just give me the Alpha.
Ini pasti main lagi sih, siapa? Nathan kayaknya, Nathan deh, main deh, Nathan.
I'm wondering it.
Nathan, Joy main. Joy
Joy
masih main, Nathan kayaknya. M-nya kayak Nathan deh, MM-nya.
But depending on how they wrap things up,
Warman
there's
di
still
band
plenty
soalnya.
of possibilities. They do have first pick.
Chow
When
di
it
band.
snaps back, I'm wondering, does TLID ban out the Granger right here and stop RQ from getting that?
They have to.
Harit, iya sih kayaknya Harit boleh. Nathan atau Harit sih, kayaknya ya.
But you know what, I'm gonna stand my ground and say this is still all set up for King Skylar. Like, that's why I think Liquid ID should start banning out whatever marksman hurts the most, because they're gonna have to.
Granger masih bisa.
Just hunker down, brother.
Granger masih bisa loh. Granger masih bisa Granger.
After we take out all the good marksmen in the second phase.
Granger. Aja di bench kok Grangernya. Penting gak siap gitu. Iya masih Harit sih. Harit. Nathan. Irritail. Kayaknya ya. Irritail. Hero ini. Hero Skylar. Oh, Skylar Irritail kayaknya deh. Kayaknya ya. Soalnya Granger, Wanwan sama Bro di bench, cok.
On top of that, not too many marksmen available though. Do we see the Beatrix come out? Do we see the Claude come out?
Trex, you're onto something. Even RRQ understands that it's really not Aaron that's a problem. It's that mid duo, so they're continuing to attack Weedy.
Either now, since, listen, we know that at least Jushin got, okay, you got the Jushin, but now it's, let's see if we can force, because my mind was going to the same place. Well, last time we guessed Tig,
Iron Nathan
but
nih,
they
bisa
didn't go
jadi.
Tig. Maybe they force Witty onto something like the Carmilla again, because what the little bird tell you?
Carmilla's like a nothing pick for Weedy. Like,
when we don't know where to go.
It's what he gets.
Aja di band. Di band, cok. Tuh lihat, Irritail di band. Berarti Harit atau enggak Nathan itu sih.
Last time they did that, it did not go well. They went for the Claude, so maybe you lock him in early.
That is the Jawhead now.
Jawhead.
Hands of
Jawhead.
Edok.
Anjir,
So,
jawet
they are
idok
gonna
boleh.
protect Skylar by picking him last.
One di ban. Tuh, one di ban.
The Harith.
The
Oh,
Ton.
I actually want to see the Harith on Aaron right now.
He played it earlier.
That's what they won the
Yeah.
Yushin lineup with, the Yushin draft.
Bajir,
Game one,
idok.
Aerith,
That was game
it's
one.
all fitting
Idok
into
pakai
pieces
ini.
for them.
He went
Jauhead,
7-2-1.
guys.
Harith would be good.
Kayaknya
especially
mau nabrak
when you
itu
have
deh.
heroes that can get up close and
Nabrak siapa?
personal. Could definitely be a pick. Saving the best for
Suzin.
last for Skylar though, right?
Layla
The
gak mungkin
veteran
anjir.
on the side of
Layla
RRQ
gak mungkin
Hoshi.
anjir.
What is he going
Bisa
to
jadi sih, tapi
lock
gak tahu
in?
ya.
There's already sustainability
Nathan sih
for
kayaknya,
Blue.
Nathan.
There's
Nathan atau
great
enggak
crowd control with
Harith.
the Zushin and the Alpha as well.
There it is.
There goes that Harith to be facing
Harith anjir kan,
Skylar and
Harith
Roland
di
matched
pick.
up
Berarti
with Beleric.
Nathan.
Yeah, I think the Belleric's a solid pick. It's a big
Nathan.
change up from the
Harith di
from the
pick
Carmelo.
sama
Still
Liquid, cok.
something similar in a
Nathan
sense. Wants
sih.
to get in, wants to throw down a big circle
Nathan.
on everybody. But it
Tapi nggak tahu
kinda
ya
has a
kalau yang
slightly
lain.
different touch to it. You get some response. RQ, Skylar. I don't know if he should. Don't do the Claude. All right. So we go into Beatrix, solid pick.
Nathan
This
udah.
is different though from RQ Hoshi, right?
Anjir, Beatrix,
Forcing
ya bener.
TLID to really
Beatrix,
improve
Beatrix.
this draft, right?
Beatrix,
Even though
anjir.
Scratcher has- we
Oke,
see the
gas.
Suyo and the Aurora picked up first. We're like, where are they gonna go? They could have got something more
Beatrix.
prio.
Let's see if this will unfold RRQ's way, or will TLID end the series right here. Let's go over to Ingan and Naisu.
Still a match point here for TLID. RRQ Hoshi, after a great previous game, can they do it again? Replicate what they brought? Looking at the lineups here, it's looking pretty good, looking solid. But I like what TLID brought this time around. How about you, Ingan?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the draft. No one actually went for the Cho. So TLID didn't go for the beta.
Bisa yo,
because
bisa
I know
yo.
RRQ wanted to really
Soyunya
beta
Soyunya
though
di
with
Suzuki soalnya.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, Witty,
Witty.
to go for the show, and now they go with the Beleric. And just like what the panel said, the Jushin paired up with Harith is what won them game number 1. So let's see if it's gonna
Oke,
be the
nice.
same
Yo,
result
yo,
for
bisa,
this
bisa, bisa.
game.
RRQ menang.
Again, RRQ Hoshi has to win the game to get to game 5. Both teams still fighting for that top 4 spot to join the other teams waiting in the wins. And which team will go down to the lower bracket to maybe claw their way back up? Team Liquid ID with this lineup that we're seeing here.
Bener anjir, pohon mangga emang bener. Beleric emang keur OP anjir.
But there's so much that they can utilize here if they want to go and scrap it out or fight it out. Because of the Beleric plus the Harith and then the Jushin, there's so much there that you could just lock down one area and win a fight. Not to mention the Spear of Alpha. So this time for RRQ Hoshi, utilizing the pickoff lineup that they brought could work in their favor. You know, Edok, concussive blast, but most of the thing, every time I see the Jawhead, man, I do think, you know, it's a great hero to have, but it can also
Ini
just...
mah sini harus main satu sama main santai dulu, main
sometimes playing
santai.
against yourself. When you lock in
Main
with
santai
that
dulu nih mah,
unstoppable
bos.
force, you might put yourself in a position where, oh, you're cut off from your team, and then you just kind of get punished for that.
We saw that a lot of times, especially
lot of
when
times.
it's up against the Fanny.
Yeah.
It's the unstoppable force in its name. It's not gonna stop. And at the same time, you expect RRQ Hoshi to be as aggressive as possible in the early game, because again, you don't want to be on the receiving end if you
Tebak skor,
have
tebak
a
skor.
Jawhead on your lineup.
Maksudnya tebak
It's
nih.
interesting too, just because
Match ini
of,
menang siapa nih? Liquid
again,
atau
there's no
RRQ?
Revitalize, you know, this time around for RRQ Hoshi. So another factor that they have to worry about because of the extended team fights that could break out, or the way that Team Liquid ID approaches those fights, knowing that they might have a little bit of more sustainability here. Witty though, look at the damage on him. It's gonna be fine, should heal back up with this. Turtle's coming up though. So a couple of the level 4s not available just yet, especially for the roams, Edok and Witty, but it will get started up by TLID. Fabian holding the turtle there. Meanwhile, Susujin working on the purple buff. Will get here in time though.
Okay.
How's the fight?
We're gonna see if Edok goes in with the flicker. Goes after
Bajir.
Fabian with the zone. Now RRQ Hoshi, they will get the
Bajir.
first turtle in exchange.
Nice.
for
Susujin,
They're
mantap.
still going. Yehezkiel.
Okay, Crimson Beacon in, trying to go for Susujin. Susujin dashes out. Now RRQ Hoshi.
Ih, nabrak timang nabrak timang.
The answers right back with the kill.
The answer back.
Oke, udah aman ya
trading
turtle-nya sama Susujin.
from across the board here, but still, again, nothing too crazy, nothing too much of a lead. Of course, this matchup in the gold lane is going to be interesting. You know, Skylar
Dia loh,
getting that Beatrix
hampir
locked
anjir.
in. There's the jump in, toss up. Oh, the lockdown.
Nice.
Heskill's taken out.
Serah, woi, itu dia bos.
Not starting out strong here.
Itu dia idok ya guys.
To rotate because they know they have to protect the purple buff for Fabian. Now RRQ Hoshi again with the jaw hit pick, it's working wonders for them because so far
Hanya
they
idok
already
incar
have
itu deh.
incer
mage sama Haritnya sih.
And now one that pick up a kill onto ESKill.
Fabian will get his purple buff, but the team had to help secure that up. Skylar, first item, a Malefic gun, getting a little extra gold too. So we'll see. Like I said, he needs that range. You know, playing against the Harith in that gold lane, he's gonna have to deal with it. Fabian jumping in.
Okay, Spear of Alpha. Trying to work on Edok, unstoppable force and ejector. They're trying to work on
Awas,
Fabian.
awas cok, nice. Bejir. Oke,
aggressive
anjing idoknya mati nih mah.
Get punished by TLID.
Yeah, that's
Terlalu
tough to
dalam
toss
cok.
up an alpha, you know, with Fabian here. And that's the thing I was talking about. You know, when you have this jawhead, you have to choose your targets safely, you know, and correctly. But earlier on, he made the right play. This time around, gets punished, and now they find themselves with a minor lead for RRQ Hoshi, leading into the next objective coming up here soon. This is the one that obviously will break out, especially now that you have Witty looking to set up the Wrath of the Dryad, and they can play into setup potential. I'm not sure if Aaron Shiki will actually join this fight, but it does look that Skylar might join this one. Kind of waiting there to see if he gets the call. Turtles up.
Santai.
Susujin will go ahead, lock in that shot. Skill takes a little bit of damage, but they go and get in position. Skylar will stay top side for now. And Rins picks up the glowing wand, first item priority here. They're gonna test each other out, kind of posting up around this turtle, and right now Fabian's gonna hold it. The rest of the team's gonna set up the perimeter.
Okay, the XP lane is just trying to Zoga. Here comes the unstoppable force. Bridging Glazer's gonna
Anjir.
but still
Diren,
will get the
masih
turret.
paham Diren.
Now the attack of TLID.
Anjir Pavianya cok
Forcing
emang.
out a lot of flickers coming
Oke,
in from
idok,
RRQ.
mantap.
Just working on Rins. Skill with a lantern flare. Gonna get picked
Itu
up.
doang sama si Pavia cok.
Edok manages to stay alive. Aran split, but
Oke,
gonna get caught up
oke.
by three.
Susujin kasih
RRQ
tahu.
Hoshi again with 2 kills despite losing the turtle.
A great fight.
Kasih
You know,
tahu,
for
guys.
RRQ Hoshi, great exchange. Getting a couple kills. Even Skylar making his way. He used that flicker down too, but Rins, you know, not able to get taken down, and Susujin on top of it will now get the tier 1 in the bottom lane. Great starting off for RRQ Hoshi. Even if at the cost of a turtle, it doesn't really matter right now. They'll continue to put on the pressure, and it's up to Team Liquid ID now. Looking, there's the toss again.
Another throw, might be the wrong target. Able to cast the Wrath of Dryad. Pick up the Frigid Glacier. Witty was able still to escape.
Oke, kasih tahu. Anjir dikit lagi cok itu, Widi.
Can't burst him down right away as Fabian works on Susujin, forcing out the retribution. Susujin will be able to walk away.
Oh, now look at this top side play. Aaron Shiki is going to have to rely on Skill up here. At tier 1, nearly going down. Skylar still might be able to get it. There it is with the cannon minion. Turret down, so now RRQ Hoshi with a space advantage on the map. 2 tier 1s down, and this has been a very aggressive Edok. You know, whether or not puts himself in a bad situation, it's enough pressure to keep TLID kind of second-guessing themselves, you know, on their entry points. Or big items being picked up. Skylar taking a shot right there. Again, he's only got the Malefic gun, still working on the BOD. And then even some of the defensive items also coming into play. Dyron got the Thunder Belt. You have, of course, the glowing wand for Rins. And then for Edok, he does have a Radiant Armor, as he's just going to be putting himself in that position.
Yeah, the beauty of the lineup of TLID is once Witty is able to cast the Wrath of Dryad in the perfect time and sets up a lot of members of RRQ Hoshi, they can just easily burst it down because of the fact that they have Fabian as well as Aaron Shiki, but Edok again, unstoppable force ejector, flicker combination, forcing Witty to
Edok,
revitalize,
kasih tahu.
Jauh
banget aja Edoknya cok.
Gila
anjir. Santai. Santai Susujin. Anjir, awas cok, Anjir, awas itu dikit lagi tuh Aran tuh. Santai Diren. Kasih tahu. Oke, Susujin kena turtle-nya. Ih, itu dia Susujin, cok. Itu dia Susujin. Kasih tahu. Garugi.
If he's enough of a distraction to toss someone to the whims, then that works out. Susujin now taking the purple buff. Now it's Susujin with a lead in this game against Fabian. They get the tier 1, so now all tier 1 turrets down. And even that tier 2 on the bottom side almost pushed in RRQ Hoshi with a massive space advantage right now.
Yeah, and not to mention a 3.9k gold lead. That was a well-executed play coming in from RRQ Hoshi, just Dyren, literally being the sandbag, forcing TLID out of position once again. And again, started things off by Edok, the unstoppable force flicker play, paired up with the ejector. That was more than enough to set up RRQ Hoshi for that favorable trade.
It's really interesting, the fact that, you think when you see these ultimates and the options available from TLID's lineup,
masih bisa sih, soalnya turret RRQ masih aman sih, belum ada yang jebol, cok.
But just looking at the itemization, you can see the difference here. Starlium Scythe and Feather of Heaven, not enough, but here's the breakout again.
Early split.
Bejir, kena itu. Idok, Darren. Alah, Darrennya. Kasih tahu Skylar. Nice.
Man, right now the kingdom is rallying together. Every single
mid.
team fight they choose to take, there's no response so far from Team Liquid ID.
Yeah.
And even Skylar, the fact that he got this Beatrix, look at the shots on Aaron Shiki, keeping him in check right now. Man, TLID needs a lot of time to be able to go toe-to-toe against RRQ Hoshis.
Yeah. And it's also the same story once again, just Dyren being the sacrificial lamb for RRQ Hoshi to make sure TLID doesn't get the
Lord space
that they want up against a team like RRQ Hoshi.
Lord.
Quick work of this Lord once
Awas.
again, extending
Bisa
their
sih.
lead to 6.5k.
No contest.
Giving a hard time for TLID, and you would assume that they would actually have an easier time in terms of the early game, because again, they picked up Aaron Shiki with the Hadith, they also have Fabian with the Alpha that has true
Ambil tuh bab merahnya tuh.
So right
Kelar.
now, what can you do? Because so far, even if Widdy manages to catch cast the Wrath of Dryad, there's always a response from Rince with the Frigid Glacier, forcing TLID to retreat.
It's getting to that point where Skylar is locked and loaded. He is just zoned in. He's got a Sky Piercer now too. So Malefic Gun, a BOD Sky Piercer. And you already got a preview of how much that Redder shot is gonna hurt. And so it's great. I mean, if you think about it, like we were saying,
anjir, GG kan?
those things
Ngeri, bos,
the Wrath of the Dryad. Well, Skylar's there based on whatever gun he decides to approach the fight with, but now walking in with the Lord here.
Gimana gak sakit, anjir?
They're gonna put the pressure now on the base turrets.
Okay, Wrath of Dryad gonna connect.
Set, anjir. Santai. Anjir, apa itu, cok?
Of the Lord, they will, however, save their mid lane inhibitor turret. But RRQ Hoshi, their attack might not be over just yet.
Skylar's just gonna go ahead and whittle down that mid turret. It does finally fall. Edok threatening them with the unstoppable force.
Menang, bos. Kata gue juga menang. Tidak rungkat.
Top turret. Next target here from RRQ Hoshi. They might just go ahead and go with a
Apakah RRQ akan menyamai kedudukan 2 sama?
Clearing out the minion waves while Skylar works on that, and now
Santai. Anjir.
Even with a Salmon Force.
Bejir, ROCK-nya apa, cok? Ah, mampus. Kasih tahu, Idok. Anjir. Menang. Anjir, menang. Menang. Bejir, kasih tahu. RRQ, guys.
Game 5 for the evening. Man, oh man, I hope you guys have
match 5 berarti terakhir nih, penentuan nih. Penentuan, guys, siapa yang menang nih? Aduh, 2 sama nih. Here we go, 1 game at moment. Oke. Penentuan, guys. Penentuan.
Is on par for revenge here from the Indonesia Grand Finals, because right now what we know is it all comes down to 1 single game ahead of them.
Penentuan, guys. 1 poin lagi, guys.
Their thoughts on game 4.
The Bandung Brawl never ceases to amaze. You expected a certain
Masih
kind
bisa
of matchup
comeback
when it comes to these two teams, and you get that certain expectation because they're going all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to game 5 for this upper
game 5
bracket semi.
Let's go.
And technically, if RRQ Hoshi can pull this off, that's a reverse sweep in their hands. Now both sides, 1 more match to go. Trex, he did it again, the 50-50.
I'm blaming it on RRQ TLID reverse sweep, just like what happened in the upper bracket in MPL ID. So, I mean, maybe it's not us. Maybe it just is what it is.
We had nothing to do with this.
We had nothing to do with this at all. 10 games in one day. What more could you ask for from M6?
That one is on us. Speaking of on us, let's break down that 11-minute game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, RRQ just seems to be going faster and faster and faster. That's a carry line, but here it was Skylar's Beatrix that actually turned it up a notch. How often do you see a Beatrix actually build a Sky Piercer? That's how locked in, that's how fast King Skylar saw this game coming.
Yeah, and then also able to deal the damage, the lethality coming out, able to pretty much execute them when they're super low. And it also is credits back to the draft, just getting witty, uncomfortable, Iran.
Tebak guys, siapa menang guys? RRQ atau Liquid? Komen.
Maybe one more hero that actually needs to get in there, play in the paint. Maybe Witty's Beleric would have done good, but here, what was the best you could do? Like stop the Jawhead from getting a good unstoppable force, you know? Maybe stop Suchujin from marching in too happy, but that aside, even Dyron doesn't mind getting hit with a Dryad, Wrath of the Dryad, because he's gonna stomp in anyways.
Yeah, and on top of that, Frigid Glacier comes down. Rin's played so cleanly.
Ujin gak mati bos, 303. Skylar apalagi anjir, 803. Cuman agak sakit aja.
It's a battle of the roamers because right now iDoc is also on fire. He's doing what Witty was doing those first 2 games. He is all over the place making plays happen.
iDoc is keeping TLID honest, and now it makes more sense. Now we understand why in the first phase, why alongside the Suyo, RRQ Hoshi picked up the Aurora. Rins has 100% kill participation in Game 4.
Wah, serius Rins?
And speaking of locked in, Skylar as well. I mean, you saw the snipes come out.
Gila.
He wasn't missing any opportunity, and they seized the day. The castle still standing against the siege from TLID.
And I can't help but say, the Cavalry seems like they're stumbling and they're stopping and slowing down. This draft, there was nothing wrong with it, but that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not pushing RRQ.
Komen siapa yang bakal menang nih? RRQ atau Liquid? Match terakhir nih.
I hate to say it now, the worst hits of this series for Liquid, right? It's that early glue, and then it's that weird Beleric from out of nowhere, and even I'll say it now, the Alpha on Favian just doesn't hit the same way it did back in MPLID, back in pre-M6.
I think the alpha for a lot of junglers, I think it's one of the reasons we haven't been seen as much. It feels more niche than meta almost. It does really well against those bulky things like the Hylos, the Hilda, some of those natures. But taking a look at this gold graph, I mean, it is just a downhill slope for TLID.
All it scored was the second turtle.
That's it. No tower, nothing.
And even with that second turtle score, it still went downhill from there. A steep crash down to a 10,000 deficit, which led to RRQ just taking the game. I didn't even notice it was 11 minutes. I just knew that Liquid was in trouble.
It was a very fast match, and you could just tell the momentum has shifted to the other side of the playing field. RRQ Hoshi, very comfortable so far. Even the fans behind them, the castle is gathered, and they are cheering for their team. One more match to go between these 2 amazing teams, and the question is, who is going to win the 50-50 for game number 5?
That's right, the kingdom has come alive, and they are here to cheer on their king. The MVP for game number 4, it's none other than Skylar on that Beatrix, digging deep into his hero pool, and luckily, Beatrix actually pretty good at this metagame. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she's an A+ pick.
Yeah, definitely an A+ pick, not a niche pick at all. And that feels like the gold lane in general. Bruno and Granger seem to be the only real standouts, and everything else is completely fair game, especially in the hands of Skylar, especially in the hands of one of the best gold laners right now at M6. And he just showed why he's dominant. I love how you pointed out that Sky Piercer because, I mean, he just knew, right? You just know sometimes when you are ahead, when you are winning, when you're stacking up the kills, it's time to go Sky Pierce.
Haskell, forget about it. Like, we're here to end things. We're here to take names and make heads roll, and that's what that Sky Piercer was. Let's roll through the highlights and real quick revisit the very fast 11-minute game.
Yeah, just a lot on the table for RRQ Hoshi to clean up. Just some great placements from iDoc on this jawhead as well. You got to see some excellent gameplay, pretty much a one-sided domination from RRQ Hoshi, and I think we all agree it began in the draft. After they got Team Liquid ID uncomfortable, it led into the gameplay. It bled over into the land of Dawn, and they were able to just get them mentally.
You know how soon Skylar built the Sky Piercer? It was his third item.
Third item.
Yep. So he went Malefic Gun, and then Blade of Despair, and then he said, forget about it, Sky Piercer.
Okay, so but what's interesting is that's been one of the toss-ups between a lot of Beatrixes. Do you first pick Malefic Gun or do you second pick it? Hiko's one of the gold laners who has been first picking it, and now it seems Skylar is one of the gold laners who has also first picked the Malefic Gun. And I think against the Harith, it kind of works well. Harith has great poke in lane. He's able to clear those waves, so it gives you a little bit of an answer to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It all comes down to this. Can Liquid ID pull out a new trick from out of the bag? And here's the thing. This is the brawl in Bantu, right? We're going to go all the way anyways. Do you think it's going the way of Fnatic Onyx versus Falcon? Is suddenly the one who started the series off strong going to pull out a clean and as close to normal draft as it could go for the Cavalry? Is that the direction we're hoping for?
They're running out of options, right? They have to be very textbook about this and not play into the hands of RRQ Hoshi in the beginning of the draft. They cannot fall for these setups to get Witty and Aaron uncomfortable.
These are the questions and the words I'm using because game 3 and 4, they did seem like games. I'll be honest with you, like there was very little fight from Liquid ID.
But it was the same way in the first two games, right? It felt like RRQ was kind of getting smothered a bit in some of those games. We really, I feel like we haven't gotten to a game that, you know, that 20-minute pressure. We haven't gotten to that moment where it could go any way at all.
Like a true back and forth.
A true back and forth. We haven't seen it just yet.
Could it be this one?
I hope so. I mean, we're here now, you know? We're at game 5.
If it's not, then womp womp, right?
Womp womp. Exactly.
If it's not womp womp, like what else does Coach Saint DeLucas and the Facehugger have in their blue little notebook? Like, how many ways can you gallop? How many ways can you ride out into the sunset and force a game 5 and come back at the end? Quick palate cleanser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's try and test how deep our stock knowledge of MLB esports goes. Here's a trivia bit for you. That's right. Riddle me this. Here's the question of the night as we prep up for game number 5. Our past few questions have been real brain benders. Here's one. Who was the highest damage per minute in a game in the M Series history? Like, who has the highest damage per minute?
Is this player or hero?
Meaning player or
Player.
who meaning hero?
In any M series.
Player?
Player.
I'm guessing it's player, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna break this down. Yesterday, Skylar had the most kills of any M series. So with that being said, it could be Skylar once again. I think it's a gold laner for sure.
Yeah, Skylar's been around.
Yeah.
He's been to what, 3 M series now? And consistently performed.
Or could it be like Kelra an assassin?
No, Kelra, this is Kelra's first M series.
I mean, not Kelra, Kyrie.
Kyrie.
On like an assassin pick.
If it's burst.
It's a mid laner.
Okay, clues, folks. It's a mid laner. Type in chat, get in there, get in there. Who do you think it is?
That is a really good question. And
Echo, M4.
Sanji or Few?
Sanji, that's a good one.
I'm going Sanji.
I'm going Few. That's my guess.
Anything?
Folks in Iowa, y'all can guess along too.
I'm going Sanji.
There may or may not be a prize. All right, here we go. We're going to reveal the answer. It is Sans.
How
Keep
could I forget
Sans.
With the Novaria.
He did 9.4K with a Novaria M5. Wow. So that means homie is just Star Shatter Pow. Whoop. Star Shatter Pow.
Whoop. You know that game went the distance. Do you think that was last game? Do you think that was the grand finals?
Could have been. I mean,
Possibly.
which games did he play Novaria in, right?
We don't got time for that.
we could check in. Manny was giving us all the hints. He's like, it's an M5. It's a mid.
He knows what game it
Yeah.
is. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Daddy Sean was also whispering in. I am curious. All right, I'm gonna look into this because I'm gonna lose sleep over figuring out which one it was. But I got good news for y'all, folks. Game's about to begin once more. Let's go on stage and resume this bout. One more
banget
game.
dah.
Satu.
Nah, ini dia. Mau mulai, guys. Let's go.
M6 World Championships, the knockouts. It's the upper bracket semis. Only one of these teams lock in for Axiata for the first time for this young cavalry, or will RRQ
Siapa nih guys yang bakal
make
menang?
their pilgrimage successful back into Axiata where it all began.
It's been a long drawn battle, a war back and forth, which once looked like it was going to be in favor for TLID, but then you got to see RRQ Hoshi would stand their ground and turn this back around.
You want to talk long haul? You want to talk about a journey? RRQ waited half a decade to go back to Axiata to try and reclaim glory.
Fair.
5 years, sir.
Another good point is, who did FNOP say they wanted to face in the upper bracket finals?
They're besties.
RRQ.
So what's liquid here? It's just like, hi. So,
We'll see you later, maybe.
it's Fabian. I want a solo kill King
Yes,
Kong.
I want to solo
Ya
kill
udah
King
pick, dah
Kong.
pick.
That's what it is. Folks, here we go.
They're like, whoa, he's kind of scary. Let's just...
Let's go. Siapa yang menang?
Game 5 proper is
RRQ
Here comes the
ataukah
draft. Liquid on the
Liquid
play.
yang bakal
Batting
menang?
out the Bruno and the 1-1 and the Phovius, while RRQ take out the Fanny, the Hilda, and the Matilda. All according to plan. Fabian picks up the Suyo.
And they ban out the Phobius
Terakhir, guys,
this
match
time.
terakhir.
The change up, the switch up. Last time we saw the Eve open, RQ, it is detrimental to take this Eve right now, because if you don't, it goes into Yehezkill's hands, and I think that is the last thing you want. They also lock in the glue, so we have a bit of a reverse swap TLID. Bruno?
And Cho,
Glue pick.
both of them could definitely
Okay,
be picked
nice.
up right here. Could be a possible threat, and this could be the window of opportunity that
Tapi aja
TLID
soyunya diambil,
was looking for.
So I guess
Soyunya diambil.
So I guess Aran just eats dirt? Because that's what happens, right? Like, so far, whenever Aran doesn't get the glue or the Hilda, they just leave him to the second phase, and then what does he do then?
Well, it's either we secure Iran, or we secure Yehezkill and Witty right here. Those are your choices, right?
All right, here we see the Granger first, and then the Cho. So Weedy now finally gets his pick here. Is this wise? All puns intended, to have Yehezkill in the second phase again, because you're going to end up with a frontline mage, and then what do you do then?
It's definitely going to be
Granger, Chow.
very challenging. Well, technically,
Wajir combo ini
Barza is still on the table.
combo bahaya nih.
Barza is still available.
Not for long.
Not for long, though.
You can go edge to edge. Do they ban the Farsa and the Vixana come second phase?
There's Valentina, too, but
We saw what that did.
yeah, we did.
There is a clutch pick that could come towards the end if it doesn't get banned out.
What is that?
The Lu Yi's open. Could see the Lu Yi as a
Lu Yi.
very end of phase pick. Oh, hold on.
Whoa, this is not.
Ling?
This is not a.
Seriously?
Ladies and gentlemen, the first phase alone.
Anjas.
This is
Ling
game 5
Susujin?
of Shenanigans.
Boleh.
I asked Sutsujin, the mercenary here, to his face. This was a first pick remix. I said, Sutsujin, what hero would you use to describe yourself? He said Ling.
He is Ling.
He is him.
Ling is him.
He's
Sujin
putting all the
keluar
cards
ternyata
on
ya
the
guys.
table right now. Now, you know who else could be picked up technically because there's a glue on the other side? The Faramis could sneak up in here.
To me, it's Faramis or Vixana. Like, both do the same thing just to pop those glulings.
That's true, and both can be very effective. But with this Ling on the table, right? I mean, you have that invulnerability with the tips of blades. You have the mobility to cut to
Angela
the
di ban
side
kah?
lanes.
Angela? Enggak, belum.
It's gonna create an element.
Apakah
for
Angela
RRQ
akan
that
dipick
TLID
oleh
has yet to face this entire series.
It's a gut
Riens?
check. It's like, hey, are you ready to face this? Game 5. Do you have anything left in the tank to face Sutsujin's signature pick? It's up to Fabian now. It's up to Flavor Flav, the usurper, to try
Ruby
and
di ban.
shut things down. The Ruby.
Angela sih.
Edok special banned out.
You know, they won their game
Angela
yesterday
sih,
with
harusnya
first
sih.
phase,
Pick Angela
late
ya.
pick against Vamos. Were able to clean through. So this isn't, I think, this isn't like uncomfortable for them, How's it going to work? I think it really depends on how well Edoc, Skylar, mid are able to control, and the XP lane are able to control, because Susagen's going to need a little bit of time to get to those pop-off moments.
There's the aforementioned Lu Yi. So it's just down to the Vexana, the Farsa, or the Faramis. Odd one out. Which one is likely to end up in the hands of the Ghost of Jakarta? One last ban for Team Liquid ID, taking out Edoc's favorites. There's the Franco.
Now,
di ban.
ooh, this is getting spicy. You know what?
Angela sih,
No,
kata
'cause they have
gue
CO
mah ya.
already, so-
Angela Ling.
This is going to be challenging. The Faramis could be good because they'll have sustainability, but they'll be lacking in the crowd control department with just only Cho to kind of rely on. But technically, they could flex that Cho into the XP lane. They could still maybe go for something
Okay,
with more
boleh.
crowd control in the XP lane as well. There's still some options.
This is an odd Belleric. I got a feeling because,
Belleric.
yes, it stops the Cho, but that aside, there's nothing else it really
Tinggal mid
interacts
nih.
with.
Oh, Wid udah ada ya sekarang apa?
In Liquid ID's draft so far.
GV ya?
So it might feel like Widdy's
Berarti
Belleric
udah
from
berarti
game
gak diambil.
4.
And at this point, TLID, I'm guessing most likely we see a range mage. They could go back to the Novaria if they wanted to, something of that nature. Of course, the Ling caused a little trouble with that. Ling answers to a lot of, it's almost a future sight to any of those backlines. And with the Lu Yi gone now, yeah, you got to pick something a little closer to home.
So very double poke lineup. There's the Hylos going into the hands of Aran. What does the Ghost pick up? What does Yehezkiel end up with?
That little girl.
It is!
I've been waiting for
Huh?
this pick.
Tis a debut. We're at 74 unique
Lilia?
picks now in M6.
Let's make it 75.
Nope.
Ooh, worked on
get-
that.
We tried.
Nope.
So close.
Irathel, a
Ah,
specialty
okay.
pick for Skylar.
Menang,
ready to
menang,
break
menang, menang.
out in the
Menang, menang.
MLID Season 14
Fix,
playoff.
100%.
This is the final lineup
100%
for the
menang ini mah.
final game in this best of 5. One of these teams are headed
Bisa, ayo,
to
RRQ.
Axiata as we head to the desk with Ingan and Naisu.
Thank you so much, panel, for breaking down the draft one last time. It's getting a little hot here, man. This is now the second match going the distance. And again, we wouldn't have it any other way. This is the spot top 4 and Axiata that we're talking about. Ingan, there's another new pick here that we get to witness now brought to the table. Let's take a look at the draft one more time. Who you feeling more for game 5?
I mean, in terms of the late game, you can't go wrong if you have a Lily or a Cecilia. In this case, for TLID, first time picked Lilia for Yezkiel. But on the side of RRQ Hoshi, man, Sutsujin brings out the lane
Belleric,
along with one
Iritel,
of
menang
Skylar's
sih.
signature. The Irathel is back.
The Irathil is back, and will it be enough to cap out a win here? Is it going to be the Kingdom RQ Hoshi, or will it be the Cavalry, Team Liquid ID? The revenge for both teams on the table here, going into game 5. The endurance test of TLID after being 2-0, and now RQ Hoshi has brought it down to a single game, just like we saw earlier. Now talking about the draft here, the fact that Yehezkiel's brought out so many new heroes. From what we've seen in the mid lane so far, now how are we thinking this Lilia is going to work against a pick we see so often?
Menang, Hawk, yakin.
I mean, he did put out a savior.
Menang, RRQ
Even
menang.
the Navaria. A lot of first-time hero pick was cause of Yezkiel, but Widdy, very aggressive. Just they want to put control on the mid lane, as what we've seen in their first 2 game wins, and that's what they're planning to do up against RRQ again.
So they're going to have to do. Widdy, so aggressive and so proactive on the Cho. He might get, you know, sometimes a little overzealous and get punished, but nonetheless, he's had a phenomenal performance up to this point. And looking at the emblems here, you know, this is the other thing. Susujin, like our panel said, you know, they asked him. He is the Ling, and he runs the war cry here. Fabian, though.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Quite low. A good response coming in from RRQ Hoshi. There's a thought from Adok to Widdy, and he's now going to focus his attention onto Rins. All the while, Yezkiel just trying to poke down Sutsujin.
Wow, there's enough of blooms there.
Forcing out the Tempest of Blades early on. That was a good play coming in from Yezkiel. Now Fabian, he has the Queller, not going to connect. Sutsujin remains unbothered.
Really limit
Ooh,
testing, you know, in the
hampir,
early
Cok.
game at this point. Already getting those Tempest Blades out. Oh, in a hook! Fabian goes in and picks up the kill.
Edan.
That's a solo kill right there, and now Turtle for the taking.
Okay. All the while, Sutsujin just focusing on his purple buff, while Yezkiel making
Ya,
zoning
benar-benar.
out the jungler of RRQ Hoshi. TLID starting out strong. A kill for Fabian, plus secures the turtle.
So already off to a good start. Team Liquid ID, based off that whole interaction they had, you know, even right now, just it's proven a point that actually this Lilia pick's really good, able to slow things down. The Bloom's always a surprise amount of damage early on, even before she gets items. So still, you know, RRQ Hoshi gonna have to adjust from it. Nothing too crazy to work from. They are playing with a Ling, and we know how important these buffs are gonna be in the rotation for the Ling, for Sutsujin. Relying on the team to help him out if the pressure starts. That's the one thing you want to avoid, is a too big of a lead to build for Team Liquid ID to the point where they're just always in Sutsujin's jungle here.
Yeah, but at the same time, RRQ Hoshi, they have to wait for the fact that Sutsujin needs to scale up. And looking at the proper targets that he could go for, I mean, Yezkiel has the black shoes, so at any given moment, if Sutsujin decides to dive, he can just pop off that black shoes and remain safe. And Sutsujin is not gonna get the kill that he's looking for.
That's part of it. There's the initiation already. Edok out of the picture again. Sutsujin will jump in.
He dives in with the templates in place.
Anjir.
To 4, but when he manages to flicker out, here comes
Nice,
Skylar, though.
Sutsujin.
No
Set.
casualties yet for
Anjing, di
TLID
flicker,
once
cok.
again, but they were able to take down
Ngeri,
Edok. Not a
anjir.
strong start. A 0-2-0 for this Belleric.
Yeah, very tough. Even utilizing the Revitalize that time, but still just overloaded with damage. You know, kind of dealing with this. Again, 0 and 2. He's going to be fine, though. Diamond will take some damage. They still might look to fight even further around the purple buff.
Dar ngapain,
The
cok?
ring of punishment just being a thorn in the neck for the whole squad of RRQ
Mundur lah.
Hoshi. And now they're trying slowly, bit by bit, applying a bit of a pressure onto the jungle of Sutsujin. Again, this is a Ling that scales up pretty well towards the late game. That's why TLID, there's an internal pressure for them to try and get a huge lead early on, but if ever that fails, or if ever RRQ Hoshi manages to extend this game towards the late game, Yezkiel comes in with the Lilia.
Again, Turtle up for the taking. A couple shots happening, and Sutsujin will make his way for this one.
Okay, Dyron just doing his work, zoning out, comes split plus real world manipulation.
Okay.
All the while, Windy is there with the
Santai,
backline.
santai.
With the way of the dragon, and still Rince gets the turtle. Here comes the counter attack coming in from RRQ as they take down Arad.
Okay.
But TLID, the rest of
Okay,
the
Rince.
cavalry on the attack, gonna
Bejir.
bring down Edok and Dyron.
Ah,
So
anjir.
again, still exchanging. Fabian on the hunt. Rinse trying to get back. Fabian not going to be able to follow through on that one.
Jangan di situ, cok.
So they
Cok,
break
jangan di
out
situ.
Rinse.
Anjing, hampir.
Luckily, yeah, gets the turtle
tahu,
there.
eh.
Does pick up the glowing wand now. Big part of the kit here, of course, for the Eve to set things up. But that was the thing, too. You know, both the gold laners relatively just kind of having a chill time in that gold lane against each other. Skylar does have the Haas Claws now. Hunter Strike here over on the other side for Aaron Shiki. But look at the pressure here on the tier 1.
Oh, are they going to come in the way of the dragon, though? Okay, Windy
Huh?
for a turtle.
For a turret.
Nice.
Might not be a bad
Ngapain,
trade for
Windy?
TLID. 'Cause
Ngapain?
Again, this is where their lineup kicks in. They want to go for objectives as much as possible, because towards the late game, you cannot. It's hard to go up against a Sutsujin that's scaled up perfectly. Not to mention, Skylar is also rocking an Irithel.
Yeah, this is the part, too, you know, because of the fact that Fabian was part of the early kills that he got, he is scaling up. As long as Sutsujin doesn't go down, he's able to go ahead and just keep focusing on the farm, then at least you're in a position where you're not too outscaled. You should be able to go ahead and fight. And again, it's one of those things with a Ling where you can always just try to go ahead and sweep on in and maybe steal the Lord, or at least cause enough of a chaos situation where then it comes down to a 50-50
Santai,
for the
santai.
Red Tree. But right now, it's RRQ
Santai.
just trying to keep things from getting
Mesin
too out of
mid
hand.
aja, mesin
Winnie
mid.
has been
Okay.
a nuisance, a part of this.
Oh.
Both junglers here.
Jungler 1v1, okay. Sutsujin just really feeling the damage of the Sever. But again, if you're going to look at the 50-50s in terms of the neutral objectives,
Yeah.
Fabian has a slight advantage, I would say, because of the Sever Retribution combination. It's like saying, it's like the Appraiser's Wrath or Retri combination that we've seen with the Fredrin, even the ult of the Balmut plus the Retribution combination. So TLID can actually...
Bisa lah,
there's
turtle,
not
please.
much problem or
Sutsujin.
that they have to think about when it comes to Sutsujin out-retreeing Fabian.
Third turtle's up. Again, getting in position. Frontliners there at it. We'll see them set it up now.
Okay, set up, real world manipulation. Here comes
Maling,
Sutsujin, though.
ling. Oh,
Is he
di
going to
situ.
go down as Darwin goes
Ling.
with split?
Reset,
Gonna
reset,
get,
reset.
caught up by 4 here is Aran. Okay, he has to revitalize,
Reset,
but he's
reset.
going to get bursted.
Awas,
down.
Aran.
Sutsujin.
Oke, mantap,
Oh,
Aran.
the split.
Ngapain, Aran?
Still there, going to get gacked up by 3. He's going to fall down in hands of Fabian, but all the while,
Oke, dapat
RRQ
turtle-nya.
gets the turtle
Oke.
plus the kill. So
Nice.
right now, you can safely say RRQ won that trade.
RRQ, I mean, a lot of the times that's Dyron's job. You know, he just tries to do things for the team, whether that's a turtle, whether that's a turret. cuts them off and keeps them focused on the goal for now. Suzugen will pick up the Haas Claws. They'll also get
Bisa
a turret
turtle.
down.
Turret.
Berserker's Fury now too for Skylar. So 2 items locked in. Looking at how the farm's going, you know, relatively well. But right now, Fabian and Aaron Shiki at the top of the standings. They've been doing a great job at just kind of keeping the pace. Aaron Shiki will start to shine later on, already nearly there to the BOD. Does pick it up just now, so Hunter Strike and BOD for Aaron Shiki. He'll start joining the fights a lot more now, especially as we lead into this Lord about a minute
Ya,
away.
emang idok harusnya
RRQ,
kalau mau Angela ya itu mid Prince. Tapi tadi Prince-nya pick itu sih
But
nge-pick
still, he's going to have to go ahead and be mostly with
VN,
these team fights
VN,
for the
YV.
objectives later on. Just because, again, even if it's just to steal with the
Kalau combo
retribution.
Angela mah mantap
Suzugen's done
kayaknya.
a great job at just staying alive. Still trying to cover some ground here, but man, like, these ranged shots here from Team Liquid ID is what they have to overcome.
The warning shots coming in from Aaron Shiki, making sure that Edok cannot just zone out the members of TLID, making quick work in the minions in the middle lane. And now looking at Widdy, he does have a good position with the brush. They might be able to take a pick off onto Skylar if Skylar decides to go back up top.
See how they go it again. Look at the positioning right now. Skylar approaching.
Okay, here comes the way of the Dragon Flicker combination.
Mana?
Manipulation, but they're trying to cut off that
Okay.
exit round. Here comes Aran.
Anjir.
Here comes Winnie once again. He's E-killed with the glooms. Gonna bring down 2. RRQ
Idok.
Hoshi, no
Anjir.
answer as Sutsujin is just trying to go for the
Suzugen
bottom lane
nge-push
push.
bawah.
He pushed in the lane a little bit. Lord's gonna come up. But man, TLID got 2 in exchange. They make their way to Lord. They'll start it
Aduh.
up.
Gimana guys?
We'll see
Gimana
if
guys?
he can pull something off, but he's going to get spotted out by Widdy. Not sure if he's going to be able to actually find an angle or a window to go in here. Dyron already taken the damage. Split off.
Okay.
There's the kick.
Here comes the glorious pathway. Widdy just trying to zone out Sutsujin. Forced
Aduh,
to use out the
belinya
Nicholas
kena, Cok.
Here comes Skylar though, gonna pick up again all to Aran. And now a double man knockoff
Mundur,
coming in
mundur
from
dulu.
Widdy.
Santai,
RRQ
santai, santai,
Hoshi
santai.
not backing down.
Santai.
Trying to poke down Widdy.
5 lawan 4.
And now they're back on this
Kasih
fight.
tahu jangan
Enough
bunuh-bunuh.
to go ahead and stall things out and go for the reset. Both teams might just wait.
5 lawan 4.
Almost back up. Still, Widdy, blade armor now for him. We saw Skylar's damage already to preview it when he pops that heavy crossbow. But now they set things up. Edok still on the front side of it, has the Revitalize nearly available. The Wrath of the Dryad. So they'll find themselves in this situation now, fighting for the Lord here. And despite this lead, even the poke coming out from Aaron Shiki, of course, he is going to have to be able to
Sakit
respect
banget,
some of the
anjir.
damage coming out in return.
Aaron
but
Shiki, anjir.
neither team can actually commit to this Lord just because of how much threat there is in around this Lord pit.
Yeah, and at the same time, with you can't just go in for the Jit Kundu combination because of the presence of Edok with the Belleric. Once he sees or once he feels that Widow is going to go in for the engage, he can just cast the Wrath of Dryad and just foil the plan of TLID. And for the same time, RRQ Hoshi, it's not easy for them to just really try and go for the backline because again, the glooms that Skill has been doing, 303 KDA, it's been a thorn in the neck of RRQ Hoshi, honestly. That's why Skill trying to zone out the members. Here comes Dyron though. Is he gonna cast a split real manipulation coming in from Rins. Aaron Shiki just dishing out the damage with the Rhapsody. Rins has to flicker away.
Awas, santai aja arahnya.
With a kick and gonna bring down Dyron.
Dyron already out of the picture again.
Aduh,
Lord goes
Dyron.
for a reset. I think it might just be a full reset again, even with Dyron out of the picture.
Gila nih, memperebutkan
So still, neither team
Lord,
wanting
anjir.
to fully commit. They continue to test each other's limits. Susujin will go ahead and grab the purple buff. Edok trying to provide that vision, but TLID still wants to poke them down.
Oh, they want to go for more! And gonna bring down Edok! Susujin
Awas
down
Edok,
behind.
bejir.
And then burst it down by
Bejir,
Aaron Shiki.
aduh.
TLID executed that to perfection. 2 kills plus the Lord.
Ngeri
The
anjir.
patience from the cavalry will help them win that fight.
Ngeri,
Again,
Cok.
they took their time, they poked from a distance, and then they collapsed down at the right moment. Now RRQ Hoshi on the defense. Again, with this Lord pushing in, they should be able to hold it together. They might lose that tier 1, some of the tier 2s, but they're still in the game. Skylar has been able to go ahead and farm up now, 3 items locked in. But you see where the difficulty is for RRQ Hoshi. It's the range battle. And that's been the case almost every single time, especially when a Granger is across from you with a Suyo. And right now they're going to watch the tier 2 mid lane
Aduh,
fall to
Macho.
this push from Team Liquid ID.
Oh.
Again, Aaron Shiki taking a couple shots on Susujin. He has to go back, quarter the health left. Lord still make its way on the top side, and RQ, they'll get ready to defend, utilizing Rinz's RWM when they try to push in. Not sure if Witty's gonna go under and through. They're gonna go in.
Okay, cheat condo is there.
Apakah dipaksa, guys?
Coming in from Rinz.
Apakah dipaksa, guys?
Also there, they're gonna make quick work of the Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken
Anjir, kita gitu
down
anjir.
for the side of RRQ Hoshi.
Clearing it out. Susagen dealing with that bottom side. Ultimately dealing with the Lord, they're going to be fine, but they are going to lose still more in the jungle. You're seeing the gaps here between the gold lane, between nearly every single lane at this point. And you got to start to think, all right, RRQ Hoshi, how can they actually turn this game around? How can they win a team fight? Even if it comes down to the base, it might be up to them. But Edok, this Belric has not been working out the way they wanted to. A lot of times he's just kind of slowed down and caught out. Yehezkiel as well, you know, the gloom's enough for burning him down. I mean, this guy's got the Enchanted Talisman, the Glowing Wand, and the Wishing Lantern. And it just seems to eat away at the tankier members here of RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah, honestly, the Belric, it's more of a reactive type of
bisa gak ya?
wherein you're gonna wait for TLID to go in full commit with the dive and then cast a Wrath of Dryad. But TLID knows this. They actually used this previously, and they know how to work around Edok. So right now we have to commend Aran because Aran's been providing a lot of vision for TLID, enabling actually Widdy to find the proper angle for those Jeet Kundos. He doesn't even need the Way of the Dragon. The Jeet Kundos alone has been connecting to
Anjir,
us.
Iron Shiki, ngeri bos.
Setting themselves up for the burst that can come from Aaron Shiki.
And now you got to see Halbert locked in here for Aaron Shiki. He's also got the Wind of Nature, so he has enough defensively, but also offensively to deal with that healing, that sustainability from RRQ Hoshi. Whether that's the Revitalize being dropped down, but so far, even without the Sea Halberd, they've just been able to overload the damage. I mean, look at the shots here. Able to just take down,
Anjir,
you know,
ngeri
almost half
anjir.
health with the Destinado alone.
Iron Shiki.
The fight once again for the purple buff with the Lord coming up. RRQ Hoshi, they're going to have to deal with that, so it looks like no purple for Susagen. And we know this is a tough place to be if you're a Ling and you're also just this dependent on the purple buffs. We'll see if they can make a play elsewhere, because right now, Team Liquid ID wants to make their way to the Lord.
Yeah, but they're not going to burst down the Lord just yet, because again, Fabian actually uses Retribution, because that's how much they know how valuable is the purple buff for Susagen. A scaling type of hero needs that purple buff. So right now, TLID, they're just going to play it safe, wait for Fabian's Retribution to be up, and again, look for a proper angle for Widdy to deliver the Way of the Dragon that you can do. And the beauty of the lineup of TLID, because of the range that's coming in from Aaron Shiki, it's not even just the Jeet Kundu or Aran's Glorious Pathway that procs the Tempest of Blades from Susagen. Even just the Death Sonata alone sometimes forces Susagen to use the Tempest of Blades right away.
It's almost enough, and I like how Widdy was just kind of waiting with Fabian there, even as they were pushing down that bottom side, the long lane from this Lord, just to make sure that he can rotate and he's going to be fine, especially when the Retribution's up. So that time is now. Susagen
anjir,
picking up the
7K
BOD.
anjir bedanya.
They'll get the information they need.
Agak
They're
sakit,
going to rely
anjir.
on Dyron and Edok to go ahead, but it's already going to be taken out. So Fabian gets the Lord. They don't want to fight this, so it looks like RRQ Hoshi will just go ahead and get ready for a defense again.
Gak bisa,
Now, breaking down the lineup, they've got a great high ground defense. They've got a great lineup that can actually defend to the base, but right now they want to go ahead and get this purple buff for Susagen.
They're going to fight for the purple buff, forcing Jiren to use the split once again. Here comes the Death Sonata coming in from Aaron Shiki.
Aduh,
Darren. And now Widdy looking for another angle. Susagen just desperately trying to get this purple buff, and TLID will successfully steal it away from him.
All right, so he's not going to have the buff for this. And just, we see this so often now, especially with how popular Granger is. And now that you have a Sky Piercer there, part of the equation, man, you got to have the team to body block the shots, because the Death Sonata is really starting to hurt. Widdy picking up this immortality means that he's probably going to force a fight, force a situation or a reaction, utilizing the flicker into the base when they get this ready to set up here. So RRQ Hoshi, Skylar, this is his time to shine on the Aerithil. Again, this Aerithil has done wonders for the teams that have brought it to their games. But right now it's dealing with a ranged battle. Rinz will also get a Divine Glaive, so perfect timing on the base defense as they try to clear things out. They get the black shoes out.
Okay, they're going to force out the black shoes, plus the Tempest of Blades. Here comes the round, going to cut out the exit drop with the Glorious Pathway. They're trying to chase right after Susagen, but they're not going to mind him anymore. Sets their eyes on the inhibitor turret.
They got the black shoes, they got the flicker down. They still have to deal with the Lord here on the top side. RRQ Hoshi wants to hold on to what they can, even if they're at the expense of the base turrets. Rins though.
Oh, real manipulation, forcing the black shoes once again. This might be a go signal for RRQ Hoshi, but Fabian says no.
Bisa kali.
Cutting
Comeback is real. No.
But still, that was still a good attempt for the Kingdom, because instead of losing all inhibitor turrets, they only lost one. And a lot of credit goes to Susagen because they forced out
berat anjir.
black shoes right away.
Yeah, I would say successful defense by RRQ Hoshi, holding down the walls of the base. Right now,
final,
still up. Despite being down
final
this
emang
much,
rada berat anjir.
still got to give it to their lineup that they have here. Able to go ahead and lock things down. Rins as well. This time they still get a position because they want to go ahead and allow that purple buff to be secured if it can and go in the hands of Susagen. It's going to work on the orange for now, but still, again, RRQ Hoshi staying in the game. If they can drag it on a little bit further, they might actually be in a position to contest the next Lord that comes up here, because nearly itemization-wise, they almost have everything they need, at least damage-wise. Now, tankiness, they got to build up a little bit more. Susagen also picking up a Malefic Roar. Idok, you know, he's along the way. He's got an anti-Karas and a Radiant armor. That's why you just kind of see him dealing with a lot of the damage. I mean, as tanky as he's supposed to be, as the Spellrick is supposed to be, it just doesn't feel like it. And it's not like you're going to be able to just surprise anyone because of the fact that, you know, they're going to see you coming from a mile away. Yeah, exactly. And they're playing against, too, a Glorious Pathway. Aran has been a really good... I mean, look at this. Look at the Gloom damage.
Okay, they're going to try and work on the Lord and try and burst it down. Energy with that Sonata. Just look at Edok soaking up the damage.
Please, jangan meninggoy dong.
To Edok there, Susagen trying to survey the scene.
Anjir, awas itu Edoknya, Cok.
Still holding on to this Lord.
Edok able to get away. RWM dropped down. There's a Glorious Pathway, though. The Lord still for the fight.
Susagen goes down. Templates of Blade going to try and catch Aaron Shiki. But waiting with a Jitkanto kill. Assisted him off to Aaron
Anjir.
for that huge
Sakit banget anjir.
An answer for RRQ to bring
Aduh,
down
nggak bisa,
will be popped and gets a flicker out to safety. But Aaron Shiki, does he have
Tidak bisa, bos.
Yoshi manages to lose Susagen, but TLID also got the Lord.
The little glues trying to catch up too, but I'm
Aduh,
surprised
berat.
stayed alive. Great usage of the flicker. They might, of course, be able to hold on still.
Aduh, berat,
Cok. Will be up in 20 seconds. They will have the rest of the waves to deal with. But by that time, also, RWM will be back. They'll
Aduh,
have
berat.
to go ahead and go for the defense, even the revitalize perhaps here, depending on how long they stall
We
this
lost,
out.
guys. Iya, kayaknya
now
ya.
seconds away from being up. And Team Liquid ID still down Aran. We'll see how they manage this push in. They might just get the two base turrets left here.
3D charging up the cheat gun again.
Aduh, gak bisa nahan nih mah.
Plus the
Lord masuk, mid masuk, bawah masuk.
RRQ Hoshi just making quick work.
Bisa. Masih bisa, gak ada creep. Cuman ada Lord doang ya. Masih bisa. Oke, aman. Please satu, kasih kemenangan, bos.
Still these powered waves pushing in. Not sure if they're actually
Jangan lupa di like, guys.
Di
like.
From Yehezkiel.
Di subscribe kalau perlu.
They want to take the bottom turret down.
Okay, gonna try and work on the bottom lane turret, but RRQ Hoshi was ready for the response.
Wow.
Still saving one more hit of that turret, making sure that the walls of their kingdom are still there.
RRQ Hoshi will have again.
Harus cuy Grangernya sih sebenarnya sih.
21 minutes in, as Skylar picks up the Malefic gun.
Kayaknya aman deh kalau udah cuy
And this
Grangernya.
has been enough time. Even the fact that a nice Queen Wand now in the hands of Rins, a fight that isn't in favor of Team Liquid ID around the next objective could turn this game completely over on its head. Dairon, though.
They're gonna go full commit onto Dairon, forcing his split.
Bajir, Dairon. Awas, Dairon. Gila, anjir. Apa tuh, Cok?
And now they're in trouble because Team can feel the push that it's coming in onto the middle lane.
They saw what Dairon did earlier. They're not going to let it happen again, and now in the mid.
Waiting with a conceal and a double man knock-up. Jade Kundu forcing the Templars of Blades. And I'm just soaking up the damage. He does have to revitalize now. And RRQ Hoshi lost all inhibitor turrets. Aaron Shiki sets his eyes on Susagen, but Susagen manages to evade that. They lost Dairon and all their inhibitor turrets.
All the inhibitor turrets taken down. You gotta give it up though, because it's been discipline that has played the
Ya sih benar sih.
slowly but surely exposing the base now of RRQ Hoshi. You can take a look at the items here once again. Skylar, I mean, Finally, he gets that Malefic Roar too, so he's locked in. But look
Culik.
at the
Iya
amount of
bener,
gold over here
culik.
for Shiki. Even
Granger
down
ada
to the point
Chow
where
nggak bisa
sometimes just switching some of the
langsung
items.
ditendang di counter.
And now that this Lord is up again, we're gonna see if they're able to actually go and fight it off. Dyron and Edok gets whittled down by these damage dealers. Even the Blooms alone, difficult enough to actually find a window to go into here to contest this Lord right now as Fabian holds it together.
Bisa kali.
Positioning as well.
Aduh, turtle,
Might look
turtle
for a
Lord,
play,
please.
But they take their time. This has been the story so far for Team Liquid ID, is just taking their time when they know that they have
Apakah
somewhat of an
kontes,
advantage
guys?
against RRQ Hoshi, but still respecting
Apakah kontes Lord?
how this can change in the course of a team fight.
Yeah, there's a fat wave up top building for TLID. Eventually, someone has to deal with the wave up top as Sutsujin works on the purple buff. Just look at that Sonata forcing a Rinz and Edok to walk away. Aran cuts the exit route off with a glorious pathway. But
Bajir.
shut down onto Ezekiel.
Bajir.
Kick coming in from Winnie. The Mortate will be popped.
Bajir, Edok. Kena euy jadinya. Mati sih, udah bisa lagi, Cok. Gelo anjir sakit banget.
The minions are already pushing into the base, but the Lord is secured by Team Liquid
Sulit
ID.
anjir.
And yes, RRQ Hoshi will defend the base for
Sulit,
now.
sulit.
But again, for how long? And now almost 24 minutes into the game.
Kira-kira sakit
You already
banget.
saw how difficult it was. Susujin is just showing up the front side, gets taken out, and a Winter Crown and a Rose Gold Meteor picked up. Now for this push in, Lord making its way in the mid lane. And this is going to be the true test for RRQ Hoshi. This could change the course if they can turn it around. A couple immortalities for them. And still holding on to that wind of nature. Now Lord makes its way into the base. How do they pull this off? Witty goes in.
Okay, there's a conceal. Not gonna make.
Apakah akan end? Apakah akan end?
Moments away from repeating history.
End.
Down the kingdom.
5 games and history for now.
Nice try, nice try, nice try.
Goes through the gates of the kingdom.
Nice try.
RRQ Hoshi, as now they're one of the teams to represent Indonesia in the top 4.
Susah ada Chow soalnya, nggak bisa. Pastinya masuk pasti tendang, udah gitu. Susah.
Matches we've had. Absolute great gameplay, absolute cinema for a lot of people that would be watching this. Again, from the first match to now, it's been great to call the games here. Again,
Susah, Cok.
that's on. We're gonna throw it
Tapi
back
nice
to the
try
panel
sih,
to break
ente.
down the last game of the series.
Imagine what a day. Liquid ID secures Axiara, extending the journey back to where it all started for the kingdom. Gentlemen, was that last chapter in this 5-game series of an epic worthy?
Definitely worthy. The Cavalry able to withstand their siege and push through the kingdom of RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah, I think it was, we got our 20-minute plus. We got our 20 plus on there, so I'm happy with it. I wish it was a little more back and forth. It felt more like RQ was kind of hanging on.
Nah tahayanya,
Just
nah
doing the
busa.
best they could to make that
Nah,
as
Ling.
far as possible. In the end,
Mana busa kan kayaknya masih bisa sih.
approach, able to just come out on top, get those lords, get those objectives, and eventually smother down onto RQ.
We gave Liquid ID an ultimatum. Come up with something new, a pocket pick, a pocket strat.
Soalnya lawannya ini sih
to put
Warrior.
them back on the up and up, and
Warrior
they
jungler
did.
sama,
They brought out and debuted
Pure Assassin
successfully a
agak
Lily
berat.
in the hands of the ghost of Jakarta, and luckily, despite not picking up a Purify, the Black Shoes was enough to keep him at his quota. Just one death
Bener.
on this
Dia lawannya imbang
and
itu.
all is well.
Alpha
Again,
sama
same
Federin.
story here for Weedy.
Dikasih Assassin
We talked about
jadinya
how the mid
apa ya,
was the priority
lemah
for Liquid ID, and they secured both and got the win.
You know, for a second there, I thought we were going to get a repeat of Season 14 of MPLID.
Nah, Bane boleh, ya benar ya Bane, gak kepikiran nih.
But looks like we got a repeat of
Jadi
history
pas
of what we saw in our
kontes
first
sorte
series today. When we got to see Fnatic
masih
Honor
bisa
go
di
against
ini,
Falcons.
masih bisa di
Same exact
sapu
way the
gitu.
matches played out, but they were able to find victory at the very end, able to find their composure. Just imagine if any of these were Game 7s today.
What was that 14 for us
14
total?
games, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Why would
Weezy?
you do
Why?
that?
I'm not doing it. They're doing it. All right?
You're putting it out there. Putting the energy out there.
Hey, you can't
I'm not
talk.
vibing with it.
He ate all the Hello Panda today.
Don't
He
bring
does
up the
not
past.
forget.
I have not
Kita lihat
forgotten.
ya.
Forget.
I've been starving.
Liquid
This is
mau ngomong
just
nih.
how the
Mau
Florida
apa nih
brothers
Liquid
roll.
nih?
How we roll.
You put us together in a hurricane forms, hot and cold.
Oh, yeah.
Miami.
There you go.
Heat.
No, that's the part where you say where you're from.
Oh, I'm from Tampa Bay.
Jacksonville. So shout out to everybody from Florida. And out.
If you guys don't know, Leo's from Miami. He doesn't tell anyone. He says he's Filipino, but really, he's a Miami native.
I've never been to the.
Don't lie.
I've never been to the East
Don't
Coast.
lie.
Look, we're
Furthest
from
I've been is
Florida.
Oregon. That's it. That was off of a domestic flight
Susah,
stopover.
Cok.
I've
Ternyata
never been to
lawan
the East
Liquid
Coast. But we'll call this a
masih
Florida
terulang seperti
man
dulu,
trio, and we get
yang
the
waktu di
longest
MPL.
series of them all. On Steph Weezy's debut, we go all the way. Well, more on the long series, more on the matchup that we just witnessed in just a bit. But for now, we are going to be throwing over to the stage. Rose is standing there with Team Liquid ID, and she's going to ask how they went.
The Calvaries has just sent the Kings of the Kings to the lower bracket. And right now, Team Liquid Indonesia holds top 4 this M6 World Championship. Right now, I'm with Widdy and Coach. Widdy, how are you feeling? Congratulations on top 4.
I'm feeling freely because I got the tough game. And like, yeah, they are pretty opponent, but we can execute them better. So yeah. I feel very free. And
You feel very happy. I can see you're sweating. Was it a very intense match, Widdy? Intense?
Widdy Cok yang ngomong Cok.
Very intense. It was a 3-2. Now, Coach, how are you? Congratulations on top 4.
Okay, feeling good.
Feeling good. Okay, now, Widdy. We know that RRQ Hoshi was also your opponent in the MPL ID Grand Finals. How is it like rematching against RRQ Hoshi and still winning?
Very happy sih. Karena apa ya, mereka punya banyak potensi, terus juga resource yang mereka punya tuh sebenarnya emang potensial banget. Jadi ya kita pasti bisa belajar banyak lah dari mereka. Contohnya tadi kita juga dapetin game yang seru, jadi ya bakal banyak pembelajaran gitu sih.
I see. He said that actually he's very happy to go up against RRQ Hoshi once again, as he sees that the team actually has a lot of potential, and whenever they match up against each other, they do learn a lot, especially after such an intensive match, which was a 3-2, an amazing best of 5. Okay, now Coach, we know that RRQ is a team you guys are very familiar with, and I think we can say they're also familiar with you because you guys are from the same region. However, Coach, is preparation harder or easier if you guys are this familiar with each other?
I think against RRQ is like we are always playing puzzle. Like every match, every best of 5, best
Kalah
of 7.
guys, RRQ guys.
We are like connecting each other. Like what's the best heroes for us to play at the game 5, at the game 4. Like I think like we are connected and we just play like a puzzle.
I see. So is that why they managed to actually secure a reverse sweep? Because, you know, it's like a puzzle. We don't know the missing pieces every game.
Yeah, I think we found the last piece at the game 5. Yeah.
You guys managed to get the last piece. Now, Coach, I also have another question, which is regarding your mage picks, which took a lot of the casters and people by surprise, because you guys took Novaria and Alilia, which is not very common, especially this M series. Maybe you can share a little bit on why you guys decided on these two heroes?
I think Novaria and Lilia because Skill is one of the best in his city. He got top 1 in the Novaria and Lilia. That's why he very confident. Yeah.
I see. So it's more towards your trust for the team.
Yes, yes.
I see. Okay, I like that. Now, Widdy, what are the differences with facing RRQ Hoshi in the international stage and in MPL back home? Apa bezanya?
Mungkin mereka sekarang lebih berpengalaman aja sih, soalnya kan kita emang banyak kedatangan rookie juga kan, kita berdua. Jadi ya kita ajang adu pembelajaran aja sih, siapa yang lebih berproses dan ajang pembuktian satu sama lain aja gitu.
Okay, so the difference honestly is that because they're both learning here in M6, so we can see that RRQ Hoshi had a smoother run to the knockout stage. They learned differently compared to TLID. Okay, now, Coach, you guys just won this rematch up against RRQ Hoshi, right? However, after securing this win, you guys have to go through another matchup in the upper bracket finals up against Fnatic Onyx Philippines. Now, Coach, Fnatic Onyx Philippines is definitely on a roll. How are you guys preparing leading up to this matchup? Because you guys will be having a long break.
I think what we need to prepare for now is our stamina, because today and yesterday is a long day for us. I think the most important one is we need to rest first, And then for tomorrow, I think we're gonna prepare. Like we're watching all the games from Fnatic, and also we kind of know their game style, and we are also know each other lah. But yeah, best of 5 I think is more entertaining later. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Best of 5 is definitely very entertaining. Our casters are very hyped and obviously losing their voice as well. Now, we can also imagine the stamina it needs our players to have, especially long games. Look at Widdy. He's sweating. Widdy, are you okay? Are you tired?
A bit lah.
A bit tired. Okay, now Widdy, what about your opinion on rematch against Fnatic Onyx Philippines?
Again, I think we can learn a lot from them. So yeah. we just prepared ourselves and give the best learn lah.
Give a good game, right? Now, Widdy, do you have anything to say to Fnatic Onyx Philippines before we wrap up?
Give all the viewers best game.
Give all the viewers the best game. He told me just now, my mom don't let me taunt, so, okay, you know what? We respect that, okay? So, thank you very much to Widdy and to Coach. Congratulations on top 4. And with that, let us join back to the panel to break down this amazing series up against RRQ Hoshi.
Nice.
Anything my mom says I can't do, I definitely will not do. Great hearing from Widdy the Wise and Coach Saint Lucas from Team Liquid ID. Class act every single time.
Oke, sudah selesai ya nih streamingnya. Ini sampai sini dulu aja. Terima kasih yang udah nonton. Jangan lupa like, subscribe. Dadah.
Coach T?
Coach T? That's me? Sorry. Yes. I think overall, in the end, there were so many choices in draft, as we saw. RQ kind of caught some pacing there in game 2 and 3, but I love the way that TLID set it on